Okay, well, there we go, guys. We had a quick overview then of what is to come in this next set. Best of 5 on the way. Frantic, VNA for their place in the grand final, and of course, a nice healthy chunk of the prize pool as well. Both teams very motivated here, and both teams are going to be bringing their A game to this next match. So I think we're about ready to start. I believe everything is up and running with all the other streams as well, and I think we can tell Robo to start the game already. And guys, I cannot wait for this. I'm super excited. Obviously, I'll be controlling the camera. These two lovely guys will be casting the game for you, and I'm going to try and do my best to follow you guys closely and not stray too far.
We'll see. It obviously is an interesting scenario. I love the professional approach that we have here at ECL. Having the casters controlling like the game, talk, interact well with each other, and then having Zach as a cameraman here. So yeah, I love that. Sometimes we are not showing the right stuff, but it feels very professional, our setup here.
Well, actually,
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, go ahead, Only.
I was just saying, if you look at other esports, you have specific camera people, controlling the on-stream viewing experience, and that just gives us casters a bit more flexibility in what we can look at and not worry about always looking at the exact right thing.
That's true. However, also one thing to keep in mind. I mean, obviously, we're trying to appeal to as many people as possible. We're trying to make this as professional as possible. But in other esports, we also have this interesting situation where they're usually all in the same room. So what the casters see is usually what the camera is showing. But anyway, let's talk about that because the game is about to start, and I'll let you guys take it away for our first match of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the semifinal, first semifinal here for the Africa 2v2 portion of ECL. Got VNA versus Frantic here, and just going to introduce the players real quick. Spawning in the east of the map for Team VNA is 8 Euro, also known as Backed. He will be the Orange Mayans. His teammate over to the north will be Say My Name in the red as the Franks. And they'll be facing off against CL as the Cyan Mayans over in the west of the map. And finally, got Tim as the Green Franks here in the southwest. Nilly, what do you think of this Frank Mayan mirror on Desert?
Yeah, as we said, it is a lot of very open maps, and it somehow plays a bit like Arabia here. Yeah, it is a bit more open, and obviously we are fighting for the big center in the middle, controlling all those gold spots. But that somewhat shifts the aggression into heavy castle age control. And what better composition to have in castle age than cheap crossbows and strong Frankish knights?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I tell people on stream all the time is generally the way 2v2s work out is you want one guy going for archers and one guy going for cavalry. And it's hard to argue with the archers of the Mayans or the cavalry of the Franks, especially since we do have Franks as one of the civs in the pool for Africa. It makes just a lot of sense to combine them with a good archer civ in the Mayans.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. And let's take a look at the map, shall we? For example, if I look at, say, my name here in the red north, that will be a very tricky map to wall for him. The front completely open, open berries, open gold spots. Ay, 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 ay. We will see a lot of aggression in his face.
Oh yeah, this is an absolute nightmare if he wants to wall. His woodline to the north of his base is super far away and hard to defend, and even has that annoying little hill there. So could potentially see some aggression towards him earlier, but it looks like got a bit of a scout scuffle down here towards the south of the map.
Yeah, back T, our player being €8, is going for the early steal there, but went into the TC, lost a lot of HP, and then Tim chased him down and got the kill. Pretty nice start for him. Bekti already starting to wall up his home base. He needs to play it a bit more defensively.
Yeah, and just looking at his map real quick, it seems at least okay. He can kind of wall the south side of his base, kind of wall towards his maybe stone, because as the Mayans, you really want to be able to take that stone for plumed archers, and his gold's relatively safe. So, yeah, it's never a great thing to lose your scout, but at least he can feel relatively comfortable in getting his walls up early on.
Well, I don't expect a lot of surprises. It will be scouts, archers, a lot of aggression, people trying to get advantages by doubling and trying to pull someone off guard, try to open some walls maybe. So, scout losing in this matchup, not the worst per se, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. But I do want to take a quick look over at CL's base, and it's pretty easy to wall, and you already have him getting about half of his walls down already. This is a player, if you guys didn't check out the games last week, who went for a full wall straight into the fast castle on Serengeti, like the most open map in existence. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go for a straight fast castle into plumes without even a drush component to it.
Yeah, and we saw already 6 on wood, so that's going to be it. Yeah, and needs to wall quite a big range here, trying to protect his gold. And now, say my name, he will probably go for scouts, will run into walls, and then not really having the unit to pressure that gold spot. I think CL, he should get that one through.
Yeah, probably. And oh man, look at this great wall coming in from back. He's not even playing as the Chinese. It's just going all the way to the edge of the map. But I guess, he's just trying to make sure he has safe stone. You see him taking his secondary stone, just so it's not in range of any archers or towers, at least not as easily. So really just wanting to make sure he can get those plumes up and running in the castle age.
Oh, interesting. So it will be the same approach for both teams here. It looks like Malian's players both going fast castle and the Franks players going for scouts. The question is, will CL go for plumed archers as well? And he's sending a village on stone, indicating a clear yes.
Oh yeah. I think teams really like playing Franks Mayans on this map. I think this is not the first time we've seen just a Frank Mayan mirror on this map. Uh, I guess you can kind of think of this map as kind of the love child of Arabia and Gold Rush.
Ah,
Kind
yeah.
of, you have the gold in the middle, but it's not all in one big clump, and then you kind of just have the rest of the map rather open. So Frank's Mayans are also very good. Gold Rush civs, kind of not surprised to see them popular on this map.
Yeah. And who doesn't like a love child?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we see the typical approach here. Both stables up. Scout production started. Back-T a bit earlier when pop 27-ish, like pop 26 without a scout, and CL with pop 28. So no big difference there. Pushing deer for both players, or Back-T's case, doing the mill. I don't think we will see too many kills in the near future.
Nope. Who would have thought that this map pool would result in a lot of passive openings? I mean, it's also partially going to be the teams. Both of these teams are not ones that are going to shy away from the walling, as I'm sure you've all noticed at this point. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how open your map is; these guys will find a way to wall it. And as you're saying, Nilly, yes, the scouts are here just to get some sort of map control, but I don't think the scouts are really going to be killing much of anything except perhaps each other.
Hmm. And like we kind of anticipated the approach from both teams, right? And shouldn't you like go for the mindset? Okay, they're playing fast castle. Maybe I go for a tower aggression into the gold spots. I think especially CL's map could have been super vulnerable to that, but yeah, VNS didn't adjust to that. At least not in this game.
Yeah, I think that, it's just safer to go for your own walls than to sort of risk it all on a tower rush, especially if, you kind of have a set plan going into the map that, okay, I want to get up to the castle age quickly. I want to, start pumping out knights and plumed archers, though I do think it's interesting to note that we actually saw Tim invest in some stone walls over on his little, I guess, far west part of his base. So he's going to get to collect some stone if he wants to start throwing down additional TCs in the castle age.
I'm not a big fan of those stone walls. It's the furthest away area, unlikely to be attacked. He can easily quick wall with 2 gates behind it or 3 to quick gates. I think that is a spot where just going for normal palisade walls would have been okay. Some skirmishes with the scouts in the center, still no kills here. We will see plumed archers added on both sides pretty soon.
Yep. You do have to be a bit careful if you're Say My Name because he's not, walling in his gold miners on right at the front of his base. Like we were saying, it's just so open for him. So we are going to see some villagers go down. It's going to potentially be for our red player in the north. Does have a few spearmen here, so it might be a little bit tricky for Tim to take the engagement, but we'll have to see how this plan pans out.
Is he trying to go for it? We'll try to go for the villager here, but is thinking better of it. Only some HP loss. Nice quick walls. Nice quick walls here.
Oh yeah, that is some fantastic, just quick wall preventing these scouts from running out of the base. Now we have Tim's scouts kind of trapped in the base of Say My Name. Could potentially see him just, totally complete the wall, and eventually the spearmen and the scouts, now that once he gets up to the castle age, all those scouts will for sure die. They might want to quick wall in the villagers on the wood. I guess he's just going to run away.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. He went in with like 8 scouts, only down to 5 now. Is trying to run away, taking the engagement against the other scouts again, but always taking hits. Let's take a look. Do we see another wall? No, not yet. So, indeed, the game with very few villager kills. I think not a single will went down this game yet.
Nope, just been the scouts kind of killing each other, like said. Looks like, we're gonna maybe finish off the fight. Tim with just 1 scout left. I don't really think we'll be seeing a ton of monks in the castle age, so I don't think the fact that Say My Name has a few scouts left is going to matter too much. But we'll have to see. The scouts are always going to be useful in just picking off any stray villagers that are maybe trying to build a TC or something closer towards the middle where all the gold is.
Yeah,
obviously.
agreed. KD now heavily in favor of Say My Name, but that's completely unimportant in what phase of the game we are going now. Plumed archers, knights will dominate the game. Those scouts and spearmen won't do anything, and the scouts even taking a look into the castle.
Yeah, I guess we can starting to see our first small divergence in plans. We see Backed already going up to the 3 town centers, whereas Say My Name just getting up his second one, as far as I can tell. So definitely a bit greedier of an opening here from our orange Vietnamese player.
Oh, we'll see. No fletching from back T yet. We have fletching on the side of CL, and now the first engagement of those two. Back T should have the hill advantage here, grabbing some spearmen, and then CL is retreating again. This game could go for very, very long. Everyone pretty walled. You can't really, damage anyone. The good thing is that we are playing on desert and people kind of have to expand towards the center to secure themselves some more gold spots.
That's true, but it's not like Gold Rush where it's very sort of snowbally. If one team has control of the center, the other team is just in a super rough position. Yet I've seen a few times where the 4 players each kind of take a corner of the desert area and get a little bit of gold going into the mid game, and then you just start trading.
Big engagement in the center. Sorry.
Got a plumed archers. Unplumed archers, and one player has fletching, and that player is CL, so this should be potentially nice fight for him, but the numbers are not on his side. He's going to need to retreat.
Yeah. Neither the numbers nor the hill advantage there. He tried to go in, trying to abuse the fact of the +1. And now knights are coming in. Tim already with the +2 defense. But Say My Name, well, he is on the hill. Let's take a look at that first engagement now with all 4 players for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, CL is probably going to get Bodkin about halfway through this fight, not having the hill advantage like you say, but the upgrades are definitely going to be in favor of our Frantic team. But are just the faster reinforcements and the hill going to be enough for our VNA players to hold on? Seems pretty even so far.
And I love that Say My Name, although he had that very bad open gold spot, managed to defend all that area, not taking any losses, is getting the TC up, and a very nice defense here, and didn't have to sacrifice his eco. Nice adjustment here. And I think Zach won't have the toughest job. Just keep the camera at this very spot for the next 10 minutes because I don't see them fighting anywhere else. Just the only open spot at the moment.
Oh yeah, easy clap right there for Zach. But we do see Tim. He either bought some stone. No, he doesn't have a market. Or yeah, he does. So he bought some stone. Is up to 3 TCs, and I think all of our players are up to 3 TCs at this point. Economy size is looking at least relatively even.
Yeah, as they should. Military, well, now they're trying to run around it, but building a house wall, and that's probably the first villager going down. And they found a nice area to pressure, but armies should be pretty similar. Plumed archers and knights can take the hill there. The house is buying them a bit more time, but Frantic finding a nice sweet spot here.
Those are some very low HP houses, and yeah, Frantic has found their way and gonna, I guess, force some idle time if nothing else. But the fact that they have this hill here, well, or maybe they're just gonna retreat. Never mind.
Oh, but they're taking the front.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, knights coming in here from Tim, able to snipe a villager, or maybe two villagers. So, again, this is still a lot of idle time. This is a very disrupted economy right now for Say My Name, losing a few villagers here and there, but really just not what he wants to be doing with his economy right now.
Oh, and look at over at the right-hand side. Bekti is trying to go for the map control that we wanted to see from him and is building an aggressive castle on the hill there, walled the villagers, and is controlling another gold spot. So the first one to really expand in the center of the map.
Yeah, if we don't see a second castle just yet from CL, so that will give back a very definite advantage in just the numbers of plumed archers he can make, because those castles are just so limiting and how quickly you can churn out those guys. So we got a big fight opening up here in the front of Say My Name's base. Looks like the upgrades are fairly even between the two teams. Backed once again, doing a nice job at taking the hill and just getting that extra damage wherever possible. See if CL and Tim can finally get some headway into really taking it to Say My Name.
It feels like military counts are slightly in their favor, like 8 more knights, 10 more plumes. So it feels like they can pressure this area. What do you think? I wouldn't mind to see a very aggressive castle there. And look at those villagers. He thinks the same.
There you go. Got the sick predictions from Nilly. At least I would assume this was for a very aggressive castle drop. I was just thinking, drop a forward siege workshop or something, but castle would really sort of stamp out Say My Name's front of his base and really just deny him any access to gold, and even getting more and more snipes onto these knights. Plumed archers just so good at picking off any stray units. But Backed is about 25% up to the Imperial Age. He's really not been under any pressure all game long, but it's going to be a little while before he actually gets there, and he needs to prevent his teammate from dying in, right now. It'll be a little bit tricky.
It will be very tricky. Some of his army is in the base of Say My Name. Some of the army is still back at home. He's trying to go for some raids at the front, but can't do too much against the walls. This is tough. I think Frantic is in a very dominating position here.
Yeah, we just see Say My Name hemorrhaging villagers left and right, and it's going to be really difficult for our VNA team to, I think, hold on right now, because if you're both going for the same exact comps, the same exact strategies, it can be really easy to snowball. It's just, having slightly larger numbers, compounding to more and more advantages. It'll be another big fight between the plumes and the knights.
But knight numbers don't really matter anymore. It all comes down to who has more plumed archers, who will get bracer first. Third castle now from CL, and that will finally control all the gold. Bekti is reaching Imperial Age any second now, but doesn't really have a pressure point. We compare that to CL.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going to be able to get Bracer and potentially Elite Plumed Archer before CL, but CL can retreat to the safety of his castle, whereas, Backed can't really, start applying pressure to those castles with his own trebuchets because his castles are pretty far away. Tim going to be coming in here with some reinforcements.
Oh, and that's
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting you, but that's pretty ugly for Baekti. He really doesn't want to take any more fights here, but Tim is on enough knights to force out more aggression. Now taking another engagement here, the TC will go up, and Tim needs to retreat. Kind of weird spot that Tim fought there, and CL was retreating to the left-hand side. Probably the first small team misplay by them all game long.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. You don't want to be taking fights 1v2, and Tim going to be losing a few more knights there for free. Like I was saying, you just want to back up if you're Frantic. Wait for CL's Imperial Age upgrades to come in, so you're at parity as far as that goes, and you are already in a better position, both strategically and militarily. I don't really think they need to take a fight there, but it looks like our VNA players are finally gonna, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're gonna want to put some pressure on Tim.
Yeah, and that's an interesting decision. A lot of teams would have decided, okay, we get all the pressure in our face. He has aggressive castles there, has all the army. Let's try to defend that. But Baekti, he is the aggressive guy. Puts a castle in the face of Tim. This will be a very scrappy game now, and I feel, yeah, the Plumed Archers numbers will really dictate the game here, not really the Franks players.
Yeah, I think it's, it all, like you're saying, it all comes down to the Plumed Archer players. We have backed almost with fully upgraded elite Plumed Archers. CL, kind of on the other side, still missing quite a few upgrades on his guys, including the important elite upgrade, but the Frank players both look to be, frankly, not in a great position.
Oh, not the great. Look at the migration here of Say My Name. That's 25, 30 villagers, some knights around as well. So many will die. Oh god, if you have childs at home, please close their eyes. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh boy, that's just so many dead villagers going to be here. And yeah, the villager counts of Frantic are looking, a fair bit healthier than the villager counts of VNA. And, the fact that CL has these trebuchets means that he can just pick off all of the infrastructure of Say My Name with total impunity. Back is coming in with his own trebuchet, but Knight is starting to work away at it. Be careful.
And at the same time, Tim is still at what looks to be 6 town centers. Yeah, he's losing a lot of villagers as well. But just compare the start base here of Say My Name. He won't get into the game for quite some time. CL now with elite Plumed Archers as well. I think, yeah, CL against Baekti is a big clash I'm awaiting pretty soon.
The populations between those two players are relatively even. CL about 12
and
population.
I can take over single casting as well. So we have CL now going for raids here in Baekti's space. He is gathering all his villagers inside the TCs. Will have some losses, at least from mining time for sure. Tim actually with quite reasonable military numbers at 30 still, so is building some more knights. But the raids in Tim base are just continuing on. Lou, are you back with me?
I didn't know I was gone. Can you hear me, Nilly?
Fields on, Lou, man.
What?
Okay.
What? I'm
And
here.
more villagers in the top going down. I think Say My Name is doing a reasonable job of trying to expand here. Even building a siege workshop and a monastery. He is getting a sling of Baekti, or what is going on?
Nilly doesn't care.
Nilly doesn't care. Oh, there you are. I didn't hear you for quite some time.
I never left.
Sick.
Okay, but it's all good. It's all good. Looks like CL's researching coinage to potentially sling Tim, back into the game, but Tim is in just nowhere near as bad a position as Say My Name. He's at, operating at about double the population, and yeah, Back still is yet to drive out all of the enemy units from his base.
That was confusing. Okay, yeah, indeed. He's trying to drive him away, and I love that CL is spreading around his army so well, fighting at 3-4 different spots, and having enough Plumed Archers at the main army, and is pushing Baekti away. Yeah. What can Baekti really do to win this kind of 2v1 situation here?
Yeah, it's really tricky to win a 2v1, especially when players start approaching the 200 population mark, which CL's working his way towards. And yeah, CL, with splitting his army up, is able to take the fight against the entirety of Back's army. And this is just a mess here for VNA. It seems like a really rough position here for these guys.
T is trying to hold. Yeah, the sling went on there at least. Well, we have Semaname now transitioning into him. Tim is not thinking about that just yet, so maybe some Cavaliers added to the big armies. But it is so tricky to get onto big numbers to really contest CL's mass amount of elite plumed archers here. I don't see them getting the time to transition into enough Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think it's a very strange decision for Samanam to try and get to the Imperial Age here, because he doesn't have an army. I mean, he's operating literally at 0 military right now. And what Backed and Samanam need to stay alive is just units to throw at their opponents. And it doesn't really matter if you're in the Imperial Age, but you don't have any Cavaliers to contribute to contest just this huge mass of plumed archers from CL. And despite Tim staying in the Castle Age, he's providing just a nice meat shield for the his teammates' plumed archers and allowing CL to wreak havoc over here.
And like what you want to do if your teammate is dying, you kind of want to overboom, want to go to 140, 150 villages, sling your teammate up to pop 200 as well. But T, well, he is Malian, so you don't want to have that amount of villagers, and he can't afford it anyways, only at 100 villagers, so the Schling is not really running in. Another engagement, and finally it switched around. CL now on the hill. T needs to retreat, another TC down for Say My Name. It's looking pretty dire for them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what their out is this game in terms of coming back. Just looking at the military counts, we're looking at around 105 military to 55. I mean, with the trebuchet advantage even in favor of CL, and once these castles from back start falling, I mean, he's just not going to have any sort of map control. He's not going to have any plumed archer production. No real hope in this game.
Not really. And you know how Killer B would cast that? It would be like, Nelly, what is the winning condition for VNS here? And yeah, there is not really one. Back team, maybe they are just trying to warm their fingers a bit more, stay in the game, exhaust the enemy. But yeah, it is just tricky for them. Yeah, pop 90 and 160, but they are fighting against pop 200 and 160 on their own. Now big engagement in the center of the map. Mass plumed archers, the Knights not really helping out here. That's an okay engagement for T, who's now going back, but it's tricky to hold the hill for him.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's an okay trade, it's still not going to be, amazing. And once the siege rams decide to stop being lazy and get to the front lines for CL, that should be a big difference maker, as they just soak up so many arrows from the plumed archers. And yeah, with Tim hopefully getting his knights into the mix pretty soon, it should be looking really good for our Frantic team.
Yeah, they are just waiting for the Cavalier upgrade. That's why he didn't send in the Knights. And you can see he even did double Blacksmith. So all the upgrades in the book coming in. Conscription, Plate Barding Armor, Cavalier, Blast Furnace. They will just wait 1.5 more minutes, having all the upgrades, and just steamroll over what's left over from T.
Oh yeah, doing the Ornlu strats, just throwing down all of the extra research buildings. But yeah, it's pretty over at this point. Yes, Backed has the hill, but hills don't make up for being outnumbered 2-1. And as soon as Cavalier comes in for Tim, he should be feeling quite comfortable in engaging his opponent's army. Siege rams working away at this castle for Backed. No building HP upgrades to keep them alive any longer. And without castles, you can't make plumed archers, and without plumed archers, you're not going to win this game.
Absolutely not. Okay, now this might be the final engagement of this very first game of the day. Cavaliers very poorly positioned there of Tim. Maybe this is the best engagement VNS could be hoping for. Cavaliers coming from the top. This is actually going pretty well for VNS, but do they have enough numbers?
No. I would go with a definite no on that one. We still see CL working at around 80 military population, about 44 for Tim compared to the 10 of Say My Name. And I mean, Age of Empires is sometimes a game of numbers, and the numbers are not in VNA's side, and they're going to call the GG.
Interesting game. So we kind of called it at minute 4, right? Say My Name's map was very open, and we kind of expected all the aggression to go on his one gold spot. And that's the problem of deserts. You only have one gold spot. It's not like, okay, I have one bad main gold spot, I will just fall back and use my second and third. That's not how this map works.
No, it's not. All of the gold, of course, is just located in the center of the map. So it's just that much more crucial to gain some sort of map control. I actually would have been interested in maybe seeing Say My Name drop a castle or something with the cheaper Frank castles like right on the hill, like much earlier in the game. Maybe that would have helped defend him a little bit. But yeah, just really immaculate play from CL and Tim. They knew exactly what they had to do to win, and they did it.
But I have to question again. We had the scenario that CL was pushing that main goal spot with 2 aggressive castles. Back T had a window of being up to Imperial Age 1 minute earlier. Didn't you think defensive castles more in the direction of Say My Name, trying to go into a trapper with a small advantage, gives them a better shot of stabilizing and then going into the later game?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, Say My Name was just totally taken out of the game. And I think that it was a little overambitious for Back to try and push out Tim, because Tim was just able to buy all the time he needed for CL to totally wipe Say My Name off the face of the earth. And yeah, it was really impossible for Back to push down Tim quickly enough.
Yeah. I'd like to just add something as well, guys, if it's okay. So I noticed that CL and Tim, obviously, well, everybody in that game, all 4 players recognized the weakness in Say My Name's map. That's why we saw VNA playing so defensively here, Back sending his plumed archers there. CL and Tim recognized it, which is why they built these forward castles and pressured it so hard. But the big difference, I think, is CL kept all of his plumed archers in one mass. He wasn't splitting up around the map. And at one point, Bact actually had more plumed archers, and I think they would have defended or maybe even pushed out from the front of Say My Name's base if they'd have massed them up together and then pushed out as one unit. As you said, Ornlu, I mean, Bact did try to make the counterplay and split his units up, but that just meant that the Frantic team could push through Say My Name's base and wipe him out in a matter of seconds. So I think that's something that they did fundamentally very differently, and obviously it worked out better for Frantic in that game.
So let's just sum up. Let's take a look at the stats. Let's take a look at the numbers.
Well, CL's going to be pretty happy with that KD. 199 kills to 111 deaths. Working towards his 1.5 KD. Pad that stat. 85 largest army seems good.
And economy, Tim leading in food there, CL obviously leading in gold and wood, the resources he needed. And he did even sling some to Tim. Back T did sling some to Say My Name. So they wanted to go for more Cavaliers. But Tim and Say My Name, with the heavy losses, couldn't really transition too well. Mash Plumed Archers still dictating the game.
Yep. I think that pretty much sums up game number 1. So
Okay.
I think we're going to be seeing our first instance of Kilimanjaro next game.
That is correct. And before we do get this next game going, I'm very quickly going to remember to install graphs so I can bring some graphs up on the screen while we're casting. I wanted to do it at some point in that last game and then realized I don't have it installed. So I'm going to quickly do that. It'll take me a few seconds here, and then we can get our next game going on Kilimanjaro. Frantic looking strong, but obviously that was a mirror match. What do you think about civs for the next match?
What are the Civ rules again? Maybe you could tell us.
One
Civ
from the pool. Yeah, 1 Civ from the pool, 1 Civ not from the pool. So Franks are in the Civ pool for Africa. Mayans not, of course. So yeah, we're going to have to probably seeing whatever Civ can lame the best that they can play. They're probably going to go for on this map.
I don't mind seeing something similar, like Britons, Magyars. I don't mind Huns on this map. You could see Berbers. I think I like Berbers for Kilimanjaro as well.
Yeah, Berbers would seem like a strong option. Also, my bad. You can pick 2 civs from the map pool. You just have to have at least one. Robo correcting me there. But yeah, we'll have to get into Kilimanjaro here. Game number 2 of this best of 5 semifinal match between Frantic and VNA. So kicking things off for Team Frantic over in the north of the map, got CL and the Cyan as the Malians. His teammate in the green to the far west of the map is going to be Tim as the Magyars. Then their opponents in the south will have Say My Name as the Red Magyars. And over to the east of the map, we will have Backed as the Orange Ethiopians. What do you think of this half mirror?
It is so similar to game number one. The two Franks players abused their scouting advantages for Franks, now going for another scout civilization, Magyars there, cheaper scouts, stronger scouts, and the two Mayans players transitioned into other archer civilizations. Ethiopians shooting faster with their archers, beautiful choice, and Malians, maybe not the archer number one, but an incredible strong eco and will complement the Magyars as well. Lovely Tiv choices for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just all three of these different civilizations, just very powerful civilizations in their own right. But I think it's really important to talk about this map a little bit just because we haven't seen it yet this tournament. And you only have one elephant on this map. Elephant, of course, being the stand in for the boar. So if anyone loses their elephant, they're pretty much instant GG. So I don't think we've seen any laming as far as I can tell. So that's going to be pretty nice for all the players.
Yeah.
See,
will
hopefully,
be a stable game. I think we would have seen a restart if someone lames. We're only in game number 2, and yeah, not too likely. And I'm expecting a lot of deer pushing as well. The berry is not too nice, only having 4 bushes there, and so generally on this map, the scouting very late.
yeah, and I think that's a good idea for these players to try and push in some of their, well, not deer, I guess ostrich and or zebra, but I guess just ostrich. Also, the middle of this map is a very large hill, just I guess even like a plateau that dominates the entire center of the map. But it's not like loaded with resources or anything. We have this I guess smallish gold pile here. Got a fair amount of trees, I guess, but really the middle of the map is going to be important. Just more so, I think, for the map control than anything else.
Well, actually, this map kind of works with very little wood. For example,
Yeah.
if we look at CL, here's one small forest there at the front. If you wanted to expand to the left-hand side, there are small trees. So building first TCs more towards the center could be his option. It is maybe like a love child of Gold Rush instead of gold, just with wood.
Yeah. So Wood Rush.
Wood Rush.
There you go. Also, in case you guys aren't aware, these acacia trees do have 150 wood on them as opposed to the 100 wood of normal trees. So they do last a little bit longer than normal. But I mean, that doesn't really make up for the fact that they are just very sparsely placed, and it's going to be really hard to wall up. Though if anyone can do it, CL can.
At least he will try to, yeah. He has some incredible dedication on those. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, let's see. I don't expect too many walls though. Honestly, even with those players, I think this is a map that plays very aggressively. Let's see if we even see some M&As. All 4 civilizations are pretty good with the normal man-at-arms opening here. Gives you some aggression, puts on the pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more likely that we'll be seeing scouts from the Magyars players, just because you do get the +1 from forging, of free forging as soon as you hit the feudal age. But I mean, they can do men at arms just as well. That also benefits from the free forging. I just like the extra mobility that the scouts give you, just so you can help out your teammate if perhaps they get double teamed.
Yeah, I like the mobility of scouts as well. It feels like Back T might be going for M&A though. Yeah, he is. And maybe CL as well. He has somewhat of a slower timing. Everyone up with Pop 21, Pop 22 for CL. And look at him. He is trying to go for some aggression there in the north.
Oh yeah, I guess CL learning from his Frantic teammate in Tim that there are exactly 2 ways to play Age of Empires, and that is full walls and full towers. So he's opting for choice B here, coming in with a very aggressive, ostensibly a tower rush. He's gathering stone in his base, and looking at the map here of Backed, both of his stones are forward. This could be pretty tricky for him to defend.
Oh yeah, all his resources are somewhat forward there. I'm a bit surprised. Where is he getting gold at the moment? Oh, okay, main CC. Okay, now he's going for it. But yeah, that will be tricky. CL will have some aggression. Tim can come over, is building the stable now. So is Say My Name, indeed. So no big surprises here. Most of the aggression this time will be in the direction towards back T.
Yeah, and this is going to be a little bit unfortunate for Backed because his militia, soon to be men at arms, are wandering across Kilimanjaro right now and not really at home to defend himself. So this could start looking pretty ugly pretty quickly, just so long as CL can quick ball in his villagers, and it looks like he is going to be able to do that, at least on his wood line.
Yeah, and that's not too easy. It's like yeah, you can screw that up quite easily there for sure. And they can go for some aggression on that wood line. A lot of villagers of CL close to the TC though, two farms, a lot of villagers on stone. That's not the most efficient eco here that I've ever seen.
Well, it's not the most efficient eco, but it is a fairly safe eco, which I think is more important for CL at this point. Because right now he just wants to make sure he doesn't die at home while he's executing his aggression against his opponent. And it looks like both of the stones have now been denied for Backed, and that is not really a position you want to be in. Though actually, I just noticed in the very back of Backed's base, he's got an extra stone, a neutral stone. So that's really lucky for him.
Ah, but he didn't scout that one, unfortunately. So, will be tough. But let's take a look at the other side. We should have the scout war coming out there. Spearman is going down, trying to out micro that is Tim. And will the villager be safe? No. Say My Name with a nice try here, but the kills will be on Tim's side. Good start for our player in the green trunks.
Yeah, so a good start for both Frantic players, really. And since this wall was not complete, it's just going to be a free flood of units into the base of Say My Name. Ooh, tower just coming up here for CL. Of course, you do get one defensive tower that you can throw down with your starting stone. And it looks like we might actually be able to see Back to take down the tower of his opponent. CL already losing one villager.
I think he lost one prior to that, so two down. I think he didn't he go for like six villager aggression, now down to four. Those two militia will die as well. Yeah, it feels like having Tim there with four more scouts just would have been a huge game changer.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, the 2v1 aspect of scouts can be really strong, especially if they're Magyar scouts. And of course, since Backed is forced to go into skirmishers because he doesn't have any gold income, the scouts would obviously just tear those guys apart. So I'm not really a fan of Tim just trying to play this like two separate 1v1s. Got another scout fight going on over here in the south that will actually be won by Say My Name, I guess.
Yeah, looks like
Yeah.
it feels pretty even. Say My Name is sending some more in. Low HP on both sides, trying to out micro each other. That feels pretty even. Both kind of retreating at the moment. Aggression at the right hand side continues. Back T losing another farm. Oof, what a scrappy game. Oh, Back T finally finding a gold for himself.
Oh yeah, he's got gold to the south of his base, so that's pretty fortunate here for our orange player. So we will be able to produce some of those very scary Ethiopian archers, but I just don't know how he stops the towers. But actually, is Seal sending his villagers home? Is he done? Looks
I
like he's
think so.
done.
I think so, yeah. Like, what can you really do? Crawling forward, it's quite a big investment if the enemy already has archers skirm out. So you can only like leapfrog 3 tiles by 3 tiles. And yeah, he doesn't know any other spots. He's blocking 2 golds, 2 stones. His job is done here.
Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know. Maybe I would have thrown down like one more tower to deny a bit more farming space, but now that the house wall's there, that's impossible. And yeah, looks like we're going to, everyone's going to be retreating back to their own corners to some degree.
Well, Tim is
Well,
not. He's attacking the gold spot, is taking down 2 spearmen, lost one scout, is taking a villager down, and denying quite some gold money time.
yeah, that's a nice little move there from Tim. It does have bloodlines, by the way, but it's still going to be pretty tricky to engage the spearmen. But Magyar is able to knock those guys off a bit easier with their extra attack. And just, Backed is just a mess right now.
Yeah, it is tricky to play this. Obviously, he's trying to go for some aggression. He's building an aggressive tower at the front. CL not really have an answer to that. At the same time, we have same a name raiding and a typical back T pause flying in for you. Is Tim going for a second stable here? Wow, that could be full feudal age.
I like that actually from Tim. I think full feudal scouts could do work. I mean, say my name. He's quite safe at home because he invested about 2,000 wood of palisade walls in defending himself. But I mean, back is still quite open, and I think there's a pretty good chance that if we see full scouts from Tim, he'd just run over his opponent.
But why is he having 8 on gold then? That makes very little sense. I think he's going for Castle Age and just built the second stable pretty early. Maybe he was trying to trick Name. I'm thinking exactly that. Building a stable quite offensively and just hoping that the enemy is overreacting.
Yeah, maybe we have Salmon running into the base of Tim right now, taking out one spearman. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot done. Of course, we saw the tower come up from back onto the wood line of CL, but he should be able to find some more wood for the time being. And Tim will be our first player to click up.
Okay, sweet stuff for him. He has 38 villagers. On the other side, we have, say my name, with, well, he will click up with 40 villagers in roughly 30 seconds. Big engagement over at the right-hand side of back T.
Yeah, and there's one spearman left, but if that guy goes down, and he'll go down pretty quickly, could be pretty tricky for back to hold on. I guess the scout numbers are getting a little bit lower. Would have actually maybe have liked to even seen Tim get a little bit faster of a +1 defense.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same. I think just waiting 15 more seconds, wait for the +1 defense, and then engage is just so much better against archers, skirms, and those villagers.
Yeah, honestly, I think the +1 defense would have entirely changed the outcome of that fight in favor of our green player Tim. But oh well, he'll still be getting up to the castle age first, and will be the first player to make some knights. But right now, doesn't really have as scary a scout presence as does Say My Name.
We'll see. CL actually was building some archers. We completely missed that. Is now trying to run around, but does not have fletching. Won't do too much, I believe. But he's now knocking at the gold of Bekti. Is getting raided at home at the same time. A lot of stuff going on at the moment.
Oh yeah, this game is quite hectic right now, and one villager got picked off for CL. It's like Say My Name's going to be swooping into this berry patch and probably going to be getting another villager. CL losing a lot of villagers this game, as has Backed, of course.
This looks pretty good for VNS now. I think they need to get a lot of kills done with their knights here. Tim has to carry. I wouldn't even mind CL switching into a sling now. What do you think?
I think we're probably approaching that point where CL is just too far behind to really contribute anything militarily. So I think I would agree with you that this sling is probably the best option for him right now. I mean, Magyars are definitely a civ that, when slung, can take full advantage of it and just swamp their opponent with knights, and then get to the Imperial Age and go into paladins. But it doesn't appear to be the case right now. Everyone just kind of opting for their more standard game plan.
Well, CL is building a market. The question is, what will he do with it? He has a lot of towers up, and indeed, the sling is real. So, 2K prediction by you there. And yeah, he now needs to spam out a lot of knights. Is building a third stable. Oh no, only 2 stables still by Tim.
Yeah.
3 TCs.
Looks like he'll be pretty safe at home, just losing a... Well, nope, more villagers going to be going down. So I didn't see the scouts over at the left. So much action happening everywhere, so Tim losing a few more villagers, but he's still relatively even with Say My Name right now.
And he's now forced into a monastery, something you don't want to do if you are the guy getting the sling. You want to have the aggression, want to put on the raids into the face of your opponent, not really willing to build more defensive monks there.
I mean, you can't build defensive monks if you don't have a monastery, and still hasn't been able to get that up yet, and right now Say My Name is just flooding in with units right now. And this is, like you were saying, so bad if you're the slung player, because you don't be at home defending. You need to be out getting stuff done. And Backed, he's going up to the castle age. He's not slinging as far as I'm aware. Oh, it looks like Tim is coming in and getting quite a few villagers of Backed, but I mean, that's not really the big threat right now on VNA. The big threat right now is Say My Name, and well, Tim is really struggling to hold on.
Oh man, being pushed completely away from his gold. Yeah, he has 600 gold in the bank, so that's not the most important thing. But now adding a third stable, not a lot of farms working for him. Say My Name is doing a beautiful aggression against a guy who's getting a full sling.
Yeah, and sometimes we see these games from Say My Name where he just plays really well. I mean, I'm sure you've been casting forever. You've seen this guy play a lot. He used to be called Yellow, and sometimes he just totally turns it up, and he's doing a lot of work right now this game.
Yeah, I honestly don't really understand this guy. Sometimes I feel, especially like last Nations Cup, he didn't perform too well. And I felt like, okay, he doesn't have any motivation, he doesn't play that much. And then he just plays for a week again and breaks like 2,450 elo on Boobly.
Yeah, it's
So
like
this guy's crazy.
it's like he's either playing like a 2K1 or a 2K6. There's nothing in between. But yeah, I mean, still very good position right now for our red player. Definitely worth noting though is he's just getting a second TC established, but he's killed so many villagers of Tim so far that he actually has the villager lead. He'd be sniping another one right there.
And he's up to 3 stables as well. That's kind of surprising, right? Tim has the sling, had quite a lot of knights as well, had the earlier TCs, and still, Say My Name, a very dominant game, is having some scouts in the very north that they aren't using. What do you think? Continue the raid on Tim or pay Mr. CL a visit?
Continue the raid on Tim because that's a lot of towers. That's a lot of towers. Even if they don't have, fletching or anything, it's still going to be, I think, really hard to actually get a ton of villager kills. I think just making sure that the slung player is continuously on the back foot is going to be super important right here for VNA.
Okay, let's take a look. 4 monks now getting 3 conversions there against Say My Name. So that raid in the center completely shut down. Yeah, 3 monks went down as well in exchange. But that was a nice defense here by Tim. Those monks really paid dividend. Let's see. Tim now thinks some cross-map raiding is a good option. Where's the army of Bacti at the moment?
Good question. Is it no? Oh, here it is. I found it. It's near Say My Name's base. It's got a few crossbows and a couple pikemen.
And they are mainly there to snipe monks. They're not really having a lot of firepower against the +2/+2 knights. Let's take a look. Oh, Bacti, he will have some losses in his gold again.
Oh yeah, this has been a pretty constant story. He's actually going with the double monastery, just in defending himself against his opponent's knights, but not really able to get the monks out in time. Of course, Ethiopians do benefit from the free pikeman upgrade, but without any sort of really defense upgrades, they're not really going to stand up that well. Of course, in anywhere near sufficient numbers, and that is going to be a lot of dead villagers.
Oh no! Look at Bacti's main to see. Could you explain that tower to me? That's one of the most random towers I've ever seen. Close to the TC, no resources. He doesn't even have farms there.
It's the contingency tower, because, when the tower to the south of it dies, he needs to have something protecting him, so you gotta have the tower to the north.
And
it's
now
the 3K strats, Nilly, you're just not there yet.
Okay, defensive ram now as well. Oh, man.
Why?
In the meanwhile, we had a big engagement there with Tim. We completely missed that, or at least I didn't cast. I'm sure Zach catched it, and, well, that was Tim's army completely going down. Military count now 7 to 45 overall.
Yeah, this game's over. This game's real over. I mean, we just have the couple monks now here for Say My Name. Crossbows, I'm sure did a great job of sniping some monks in that last fight. Got 1 monk left here for Tim, but I don't think 1 conversion is going to make too much of an impact at this point. And I think so long as we can see Say My Name and back applying the pressure to Tim, this game should be in the bag for VNA.
Yeah, and we just saw the military stats there, how the military advantage suddenly jumped with that big engagement, having so many more knights there for say my name, not getting enough conversions in through to the crossbows around there as well. And Tim now really having some trouble. Yeah, he is at 5 stables, military count 19 for him. Will be tricky trying to go in for husbandry, and the monks of say my name just doing beautiful job of healing there as well.
Yeah, I say it all the time on stream. When you're using a very expensive, population efficient unit like the Knight, having the monks around just to keep them alive, healing them up when they're injured, they have very large health pools. It's just going to really extend the value of your army quite a bit. And now you even see Tim's stables starting to drop.
Yeah, and monks, like it is so weird. So many people are saying, "Yeah, monks are too strong. Monks are so weird." Like the randomness. I still feel it's one of the most underused units. I think it's so strong. You're just putting so much fear in the head of your opponent. Conversions are super strong. Healing is super strong. And let's take a look. Another engagement. I think that's not a great one for say my name. He needs to retreat.
Yeah, I don't want to be fighting underneath the TC. Even got the lion trying to get in on the fun, the noble Ornlu of the desert. But yeah, I mean, I think that we still see Tim with a ton of idle villagers. Well, 10. Still plenty of idle villagers. It's not really many farms working right now, and farms are going to be pretty crucial in supplementing your knight count, even if you are being slung. But yeah, this is not going to be a fight that Tim is going to take.
Well, it's a fight surely that he will take, but not as a winner here. And he has quite some numbers. Crossmen are going back as well. Maybe the shorter reinforcement lines are good for him. Suddenly military down to 15 for him, but he keeps producing more and more. Say my name is sending in everything. Wow, this is a clash.
Oh yeah, we got the pinnacle of micro right here is both players just sending in all their reinforcements into this big clash here in the middle. But it looks like Tim has finally maybe been broken. Fighting on the TC is not going to be great for Say My Name. But again, we still just have them constantly maintaining the pressure. I actually would really like to see a forward siege workshop here from our red player.
I'm not too sure about this forward siege. Still going for knights and monks there. Fighting on the TC wouldn't be the worst thing. Remember, we don't have fletching for Tim, plus 2 defense on the knights, so only doing 1 damage per shot. I think just going 8 stables full aggression could be a good option, but say my name. He's up to no good. Look at those villagers.
Hello. There we go. Castle drop would also work. Definitely you do a lot more damage than just a siege workshop. So yeah, that would work out even better.
Oh, I think that's too passive. I think that could be even more aggressively, honestly.
Yeah.
That's just super safe.
I 100% agree with you. I would have dropped it maybe a tile off from the farms that make the corner. If you see that,
I would have let it touch the mill there. Okay, now he's forcing Tim into the final engagement. Monk's coming over from back T here as well. This has to be the GG fight. Tim has no chance. Outnumbered, outgunned. Castle will go up for sure as well.
Yeah, I mean, back supplementing with his own monks, and this is just very not winnable for Tim. Yeah, this not something he's going to win, and it's going to be a GG most likely in favor of our VNA team, going to be evening up this series.
Yeah, beautiful play here by Say My Name. The castle is up. Tim is still trying to fight his heart out, but it is G to the G.
Also, we did see Backed going to be dropping a castle on CL over in the north of the map. So that would have further ended the game.
Wow. Tricky.
So let's jump into the achievements.
I think I want to talk about the game a bit more, honestly.
Fine, go.
So CL, he had a bad wood, yeah, I can see that. But was it that bad that he was kind of forced to go into a 6 villager tower rush into like 8 villagers on stone mining from the TC all in the phase move? I don't think so. It just put him so far behind. And then they needed to go for the weird like team sling strategy. Shaman name already walled.
I would have liked that tower aggression a lot more from CL if Tim was with him with his scouts. I think that could have made a really big difference, especially early on when the army was mostly just skirmishers and villagers for
Mhm.
backed.
Yeah, yeah, that could have made a lot more sense. And it's super tough for say my name to always be around then as well.
Yeah.
Simply the first four scouts, Tim will always be at the front fighting, and say my name will be somewhere on the map, maybe in the woodline of Tim or something. But I think they needed the double there. Otherwise, CL always on the back foot against Bacti, who's so good against aggressive moves early on.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that sentiment. But yeah, definitely very well played by VNA that game. And we got a series on our hands.
Yeah, indeed. And run me through the stats, please.
Okay, so well, Tim with the most units killed and lost. Say my name, largest army. Nothing too crazy about that. But look at that economy from our red player. Way more gold, and even despite being slung, I mean, just say my name, totally powering through in terms of just getting a solid economy and plenty of those knights out. Highest villager count, also helping out a little bit, and yeah, I think that's pretty much game number 2.
Sick, right? Being the slung guy and having a negative KD against a guy who's building somewhat the same units. That's really weird. Lost a lot of villagers there. Took apparently bad fights. I'm really impressed how well Seminame put on the aggression here on Tim.
Yeah, definitely. I think it came down to just him getting like these villager kills, like every, just getting a villager here, a villager there, just because they couldn't get to the TC in time or whatever, especially in the early Castle Age. I really, forced him to be on the back foot and not able to, really get that massive cavalry that you can get when you're being slung. So really nice play from Say My Name there.
Okay, then Zach, tell us Sahara will be map number 3. Well, we are deep in Africa, so maps somewhat the same here. What are we expecting? Do we see Archer Knight slash Scout again? Or will we see our first Meso civilization here?
Does seem to be a popular combination, doesn't it? We saw that combo in both games so far, or at least that attempted combo. That last game kind of fell apart a little bit, I think, as teams weren't able to properly wall up and defend themselves. And actually, I think part of the reason why Say My Name was able to do as well as he did that game was because he walled up early, he closed off a big area of the map, and he kept himself well defended at home. So even if any counter aggression did come, he had a means to deal with it, and he had lots of time to react to it. So obviously Sahara, very open map coming up next. I will show you guys the map actually. Maybe a little bit of a bigger map. You can see it's the one in the top left there. Again, very, very open, as most of these maps are. And I think that's why we are seeing this sort of archer and cavalry combination. So we do have Berbers in the map pool. We do have Spanish in the map pool. Possible scouts play from them. We also have the Italians in the map pool as well. So the civilization's starting to narrow down as the civs start to get picked by both teams. Obviously, we've already seen Ethiopians, we just saw Malians, and we've already seen the Franks, and that was it in the first game. So still a few options left, but they will start to narrow as the games go on. And what's also nice is that since it's 1-1 right now, Game 4 will be happening, and we will get to see Rift Island, which is awesome. And I'll play the Rift Island explainer video before we start that match or that game.
Lovely. So I'm expecting to see Ethiopians now from from Frantic. And probably, well, Berbers could be pretty likely, like Brits Berber against Ethiopian Berber. Something like that wouldn't surprise me too much. Or it would surprise me because then I would be right.
Ye of little faith. I think Indians are also a solid pick on this map. I think we saw Melkor go for them in their series. Just because this can be a very camel-dominated map. We'll have to see. Jumping right here into game number 3, and well, you're almost there.
I'm fine with my prediction. I'm very fine with my prediction.
I'd say it's a passing grade, but yeah, got backed over here in the north of the map for Team VNA. Of course, they won the last game, and he will be the Britons. So nice call from Nilly there. His teammate will be in the far west of the map, and that will be Say My Name as the Red Berbers. And their opponents will be CL in the south of the map as the Cyan Mongols. And finally, in the east of the map, we'll have Tim as the Green Ethiopians. You kind of got everyone in all 4 corners of the map here, Nilly.
Yeah, pretty far away, and that's a way more wallable map than we've seen all other maps before. So, yeah, I see why you would pick Mongols. This could be one of the longer games compared to, well, Berbers kind of out counter, right? So, I feel that's a good option as well. Pretty strong civs, and yeah, we will simply see again CL with the scout approach. We'll have Sam and Name with the scout, and Bekti and Tim. Oh, well, actually, that's a change now. CL is going for the scout civ, and Tim for the archer. Why did they change that up?
Good point. That's pretty interesting. Though, also we have a lame coming in here from Tim. Going to be laming a boar of backed. Should be successful unless something totally goes wrong. So that's going to be quite a nice opening right here for our green player.
Yeah, looks solid on that level. People don't screw that up anymore. Completely uninterrupted to take 2 hits, and now going for his other boars. Obviously, well, the steal is pretty nice against Britons. Not too important. Back T already starting to push some deer, so his start will be reasonable nonetheless. Didn't find 2 of his sheep at the north though, so a bit unfortunate for him, but will surely scout it in the end. I don't think that will affect it too much here. The likely strategies and the very long distances that we see.
Yeah, and worth mentioning here is that Tim is not the Mongol player. He's the Ethiopian player. CL is, of course, the Mongol player, so he's not going to be benefiting as much, you could say, from the extra boar, but it will still provide a nice little boost to his food economy. And yeah, what do you think of these civs, Nilly? I would really think that the Frantic civs have a massive edge in the late game, no? Well, I guess
Well,
Berbers counter.
Berbers are pretty good, right? Both
Yeah.
camel archers against mango dice, they don't do too much anymore. Britons then, huge long distance. Well, Ethiopians, well, they have to go for SO. Yeah, maybe if we see a lot of SO, that's an option. But I think we will mainly see a lot of aggression here in the Castle Age. It feels like Drush FC or Direct FC could be an option for all the players. Maybe Bekti with the biggest problems for that strategy since he lost the boar and has somewhat of an open map at the front. But I already see the Frantic players going for Castle Age approaches.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, lo and behold, CL is walling. Who would have thought? But his map is looking pretty defensible, I gotta say. And would not be surprised in the slightest if he went for some sort of, well, never mind. He's going to be going for a very fast feudal age, the literal exact opposite, going up on 19 population. So he's going to be going for not quick scouts. He has a villager on the gold. What do you think our Cyan player is up to, Nilly?
Oh.
Oh.
Why does he have a village on gold? No.
No,
He
it's
was
just-
just collecting some to build the barracks there. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Seminame is moving in there. We'll take some losses, and he's up to feudal age a bit later. So that will be a scout loss for Say My Name pretty soon. And that's an ugly one. Both players going for scouts, and you already lost your starting scout. You're on the back foot for a very long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, cannot count the number of games where I've lost my scout early on in the scout war, and then things just really can snowball out of control in the feudal age if you're not careful. So that's going to be a nice little pick off there for CL. I mean, you always have to kind of plan around this, though, right? You can't really assume that you're going to be faster to the feudal age than the Mongols, right?
Well, he kind of played a solid timing there. He played pop 20, and that's pretty okay-ish. But yeah, he ran into pop 19, and now trying to dance around with his scout. But the loss is real there. No more chances, and yeah, I said we will see some players going for fast castle, and oh boy, was I wrong. Tim just playing a normal feudal age here and going for archers.
It's okay. You still have the civs going for you. But yeah, also Tim's map is also looking real good, by the way. Like he just has a few little house walls, a couple palisades, and I'm sure he'll be able to complete it with some archery ranges.
And don't you think that that could have been a map to team wall as well? It's just a bit more investment for both players or for players. It seems like
Uh,
everyone is walling themselves.
I think that if we see CL investing in the stone walls here, which we do, might as well. If you're investing that much into the walls, I mean, Tim also going to be throwing down his stone gate. If you're making that much of an investment, just go with the team wall. It just makes your life easier.
Yeah, and they had the scout advantage to begin with, so they knew they couldn't get harassed easily. Yeah, well, it is obviously easy to say we see everything. At the same time, Bekti is trying to go for some engagement against the villager, trying to build the stone gate there, and we'll get the kill.
A nice little pick off there for our orange player, taking some small revenge for losing his boar early on. But well, he got trapped. Probably, yeah, he's going to lose the scout. But not really the end of the world at this point.
And we see distances are so long. Bekti and Tim both adjusting to it, while CL is running through the TC of Bekti here with his scouts, losing some HP. And both of them only going for one archer range, realizing, okay, it will be pretty much impossible to apply a lot of pressure. Let's transition into castle age timings pretty easily. And I think fast castle for those players would have been the better approach than what they went for.
I could not agree more. I mean, you see everyone here going for the normal, what I guess like standard Arabia openings, but as we kind of indicated at the very start of the game, everyone's in kind of like the four corners of the map. They're all very far away from each other, and with the fact that they all have pretty solid wood lines at the front of their base, everyone can wall themselves pretty easily. Like Bact has the hardest time to wall himself, and even he has was able to do it no problem.
Okay, give me an over-under on this game. How long do you think this one will go?
I think an hour and 10 minutes
Oh,
game time.
that's a long one. Okay.
I
Well, that's the time where it will get really tricky for the Berbers and Britons, right? Because then we have trade running, we will have massive amount of SO. Oh, this will be tricky.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I think that despite camel archers making the Mongols very sad, the Ethiopian siege could be the difference maker because, I mean, Mongol siege as well. I mean, you got two fantastic siege civs for Frantic, whereas neither of the VNA civs are really siege specialists unless you're a fan of the War Ornlue Wolf Trebs.
And look at that. CL at the very top was sure that the wall was open there, and they asked several times and said, like, oh, come here, he is open. But no, the wall for Sam and M was just so far in the back. And, well, maybe they still try to go for it. Overall kills in this game 3?
Yeah.
Nearly math checks out.
Yeah.
We won't see too much. Wheelbarrow timing seems to be exactly now for the players, and villager count is quite surprising for me.
Oh,
Does
well,
CL
that's 'cause
already
CL's
have
looking up.
wheelbarrow?
Um,
And he does. So yeah, everyone around the same. 34 villagers. 33, 34, something like that. Some aggression there at the top, but same name shouldn't have any troubles. Archers of Bekti should come around, going for the eco upgrades.
they
This will
should,
be
but they're not. They're still in his base.
uh, Forcing a lot of idle time and hectic walling out of Say My Name.
Yeah. Why is Back not helping out his teammate?
Seems to be very scared. Doesn't have fletching yet. And what is
Yeah.
this archer range? He's blocking his own gate.
Oh, that's an Ornlu archery range right there. It's kind of trapping him, and he's already has all the stone walls already built, so that's going to be a lot of wasted
What?
stone.
That's so bad and could easily have been one tile behind.
Oh yeah, I
Ah.
or just put it like where the palisade wall is the only walling, like right to the right of the barracks. Those two houses that would have made more sense.
Can you? Oh, I'm confused. Okay, trying to find another angle here. Kill number 4.
Oh boy.
The Frantic guys fletching now for back T. Everyone up to the castle age. Difference of the timings will be less than 2 minutes. What will back T do? Now deleting the stone gate at the front and moving out. Okay, so what should be the approach here, Onlu? Both like knight crossbowman and trying to take better fights in the center with hills, or are there any chances for shenanigans that we didn't think of yet?
I think that going for some amount of knights and crossbows, like you say, is just going to be good. Try and take some good fights with the hills, and if you can get some, really good engagements, and then maybe you can think about doing something funky. But I think just following up those knights and crossbows with a boom, it's probably just going to be the safest bet for both of these teams, since everyone is just so well positioned defensively.
Yeah, and you see CL not even adding a second stable, adding 2 TCs in exchange. So heavy eco approach, no upgrades on his knights as well. Just running around, somewhat helping his archers out. Let's see, maybe back T can do some. He is at the castle edge and now knocking at the front gate of Tip.
Who's there? Also,
It's
get another
VN
fail gate for Say My Name. I think that's a fail gate, right? The palisade gate right by his main stone.
Say my
Doesn't that
name.
not? Yeah, doesn't
Yeah,
that not lead anywhere?
I think he walled the stone in front after that.
Uh,
University and Siege Workshop? What is Tim? No, okay, I thought about it. Is he going
Fast
in?
imp.
No. No.
well, his archery range is under a lot of pressure right now. It is downhill, so it's going to be taking a little bit of extra damage. So
Yeah. It's only fast Timed.
fast. God. Oh, the puns here.
And losing some crossbowmen. Okay, but now all the armies are coming back, and we might finally have our engagement here at the 23-minute mark. Some kills here for the VNS guy. And knights, well, +1 defense is coming. Say my name. He's sending a lot of knights over there as well. And they will have the hill advantage with the knights in the back there. Crossbowman trying to abuse the range advantage, but will be tough. Crossbowman of Tim doing quite some damage as well.
Yeah, of course, didn't really mention it too much, but the crossbows of the Ethiopians have the faster fire rate, but the Britain crossbows have the extra range. But in these sort of straight up shootouts, the extra fire rate will certainly be more impactful, and should be a pretty good fight here for our Frantic team. See Tim losing a few crossbows as the Knights, Say My Name, finally joined the party, but unfortunately going to be a little too late in that, it seems.
Did Bekti overstay his welcome there? Did get doubled before the Knights of Say My Name were there. And Say My Name, he invested a lot. Bloodlines, +2 defense. Compare that to CL, who is booming like a madman and only went for +1 defense. Now +2 defense and Bloodlines on the way. But now with the stronger eco, Bekti trying it again.
Yep, going to be another big engagement happening over here. It looks like the hill advantage is going to be for our Frantic team, but they just do not seem to have the numbers on their side. Britain's having the faster working archery ranges, just allowing Back to throw out all the crossbowmen he could ever want. And with the better upgrades, this should be a really nice fight here for VNA.
Oh man, and so many crossbows of Tim going down. Ballistics now flying in as well. This will be a tricky spot. The archer range, in the meanwhile, repaired by Tim. Interesting move, something we don't see too often. CL trying to retreat. He went up to 3 stables, now adding a monastery. At the same time, 2 stable production from Say My Name. And now, as we just saw from Zach there, the military count skyrocketing for VNS.
Oh yeah, they are not going to be sitting around just waiting for the hour and 10-minute game. They are really piling on the pressure. The repaired archery range will still go down, and we have to wonder. Tim made the siege workshop very quickly, and he's only just now getting the mangonel out. I could pop out and kill a lot of crossbows.
Oh, let's
Nope.
take a look.
Yeah, it's really hard to make mangonels work versus Britain crossbows just with their 8 range, outranging the mangonel by 1. It's pretty easy to micro them down.
Okay, CL now coming in from behind, and Say My Name not with the greatest positioning. Is he continuing to produce more knights? Yeah, but he's not sending them in. He's getting some rage in the south. This is getting pretty tricky here. 2 different fights, only 1 screen away, and at the same time, Tim losing a lot of villagers.
Tim is losing quite a few villagers here, and it's not like CL's economy is massively ahead. He's like 7 villagers ahead of Backed. So definitely think that VNA is taking relatively good trades with this engagement, though I do think that their armies are obviously going to eventually be cleaned up here.
Oh, well, eventually, yes, but it will take quite some time. Military 40 to 16 now. CL sending in more, went for the +1 attack. And remember, Say My Name in the meanwhile. He can build cheap knights. Mongols don't really want to build too many knights.
Yeah, and VNA is continuing to pile on the aggression. The stone gate and stone wall coming in from Tim will slow down any reinforcements by a pretty significant margin, and that might just be enough to let Tim hang on right here, but oh boy, that's still a fair amount of knights from Say My Name.
Overall, villager amount super even. I believe 1 ahead only. The Frantic team here, military, still on the good side for VNS. They're trying to find another angle now, trying to go for that house. I think going for the barracks could have been another option. Let's see. Only 1 archer range at the moment, really producing for Tim. Will be tricky. Mangonel, what can it do?
Mangonel coming in, I just did a quick check of the TC counts, and it seems like everyone, well, I guess Tim and Say My Name are operating off of 3 TCs, Backed and CL are operating off of 4. So, you kind of have the 2 players who aren't really focusing, I guess, as much into just the straight up, very expensive Castle Age army. But right now, you still see Backed operating with a lot of crossbows, still a lot of pressure for Tim right now.
And he is up to Imperial age there as well. And those crossbowmen, if they get to Arbalest, they're becoming the sickest snipers there. Incredible amount of range. And you see, he
got some,
does not want to lose his mass and is falling back.
Got some villagers coming forward here from Backed. Remember when he said that only once someone, took a decisive win in the middle of the map, then maybe something funky is going to happen? Well, I got the forward castle drop from Backed right on top of this hill in front of Tim's base. And the way Sahara works out is that you have these huge hills in front of your base, so it's going to be really tricky to defend if you're just kind of holed up in your little corner, especially as people start to reach the Imperial Age.
And yeah, people are pretty far away, and those people are frantic. I mean, yeah, CL can click up any second now. Does he have a second building? I see a monastery, but what else does he have? I think he has the resources, but no second building.
Oh, feels bad, man. Throw down a university or
Am I
siege
missing
workshop,
something?
yeah.
Oh yeah, now speed building it, and that's already piling up resources here. That's pretty ugly for him. Not having too much on stone as well, so we'll have to stay on cavaliers. But Berbers, they would just kill them. Cheaper cavaliers, cheaper camels. I think the army composition will be bad for Frantic. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just say they also have +4 defense available to them, which is going to be quite nice in a straight up fight as well. And just straight up numbers very significantly favoring our VNA team. Back with the first Imperial Age, pretty easy for Britons to get up there nice and quick due to their army being relatively cheap, not costing any food. And the cheaper TCs were allowing Back to get a really nice boom off, as he is on, I believe, 4 right now. yeah. Looks like Seal's going to try and come in for a big counterattack, though. So we have fights happening everywhere.
Yeah, but that's running into complete walls there. Bacti saw that very early, is walling behind it, has villagers around fortifying more and more walls, building some more gates here.
Really, there could be an
LTC could
overchop.
go down.
I don't think Seal's going to spot it, but there could be a Nilly overchop because you are about to see back chop down that last tree to the lumber camp to the northwest or northeast of his TC. That's now been chopped through. But yeah, he's going to run away. See, armies of Backed are running home as well as Say My Name.
Okay, our other three players are on the way to Imperial Age now as well. Reasonable engagement there in the center. Tim with the bigger numbers. Bacti doing the snipes from the long distance. And the damage output from those Arbalest is just so much better compared to the crossbowmen. I think Frantic had the better numbers, but in the end, Bacti will get all the kills.
Will they? I mean, I guess it's going to be pretty even. Well, I mean, CL's Knights are still alive. Aren't that many Arbalests here, but yeah, the Knights are pretty low HP, and with Say My Name coming in, should probably just be all these teams retreating to their various corners. You do have to remember that as far as the actual fights go, because the Britons lack thumb ring, their Arbalests are going to be firing quite a bit slower than the much faster firing Ethiopian, even just crossbows. But Tim, almost up to the Imperial Age, and his economy is still looking to be in a really rough position, about 20 villagers behind everyone else at this point.
Yeah, and well, we said it so many times, military count is just so important. Tim now even switching to skirmishes, a unit you don't really want to build in general, but especially in team games, they are becoming so much worse. And well, some aggression there in the center. CL forced to stay on units that he really does not want to build. He's Mongols. What is a Mongols without Mangodas?
Grass sad.
Yeah.
You see CL throwing down a castle in the middle of the map, trying to assert some map control, trying to, finally put VNA on the back foot. But, I mean, to do this, he's kind of letting his teammate die right now.
Absolutely. I'm not sure why CL is out on the map there against Say My Name, who clearly has some knights as well. And I think he still could do enough with those knights. Maybe he wanted to get the castle up with the aggression there in the center and was hoping, okay, Tim, you go for skirmishes, you do your job. He's now moving in with exactly those skirmishes, but simply not having the upgrades.
This is where Back has the 3000 IQ play and gets Warwolf, because that's real good against skirmishers, but I mean, you can just win with straight up normal units. I just like Warwolf, but it's going to be, I think, really tricky for Tim to hold on at this point.
It's a beautiful upgrade, especially like Britain's Wars. It's just ridiculous. I play occasional deathmatch game as well, and Britain's now with Warlord Kingdoms are just ridiculous. Those fights with Warwolves, just too pretty to see. CL now coming over, indeed clearing everything up. Say My Name a bit late, and that will buy them some more time. But still, everything is open at the front. Next attack, only around the corner.
Yeah, definitely. And it's pretty easy for Back to replenish his army at this point. He does have 4 ranges forward, fully upgraded Arbalests. And yeah, CL's going to really struggle against those, I think, in particular, due to that, crucially lacking that +4 defense upgrade. Really makes these Cavaliers feel a lot weaker to the Arbalests.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like such a big difference. You might feel like, okay, it's one upgrade, but it's actually like a double upgrade, if you want to say it that way, right? And oh God,
whoa.
Look at that
I'm sure you were doing the same thing, just following the Cavaliers up to the north, and it's just like, oh, there's a ton of dead bodies in a TC.
Okay, something happened here.
Ripperino. Looks like Back lost quite a few villagers trying to establish a TC. Maybe some crossbows or something from Tim picked off all those guys before they could get the TC up and running, but we still see Back operating on 117 villagers. He's probably okay.
Maybe Bacti saw it at the same time as we did, because it doesn't look like how the villagers positioned there, like action at all.
Yeah, it looks like they were, just running away only when they were being attacked. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, we don't see CL able to take a pretty comfortable engagement here. Say My Name does have fully upgraded Cavalier. Of course, we have the Arbalests for Back. not really too much of an army for Tim, and a lot of that army is in skirmishers, which are not really the most powerful unit right now, especially since we already have Captrams here to soak up skirmisher fire. Oh, and that's also going to be a really bad position for these Knights of CL.
Oh yeah, somewhat trapped here. Let's see. Bekti could maybe go for some quick gates here. Is not using. Okay, well, he's doing that quite reasonably. But Cavaliers are just going back. At the same time, CL lost his castle in the front. We see Name going for a big army in the center, going for heavy camel now as well. It's transitioning into some camel archers. I
Yeah.
think it's a pretty strong stranglehold at the moment.
Oh, CL's just running right through the meat grinder with these camels, running right through these castles, and that's about as pleasant a word you can use to describe the situation for Frantic at this point.
He just lost like 15-20% of the HP, even some real unit losses, just by get there.
And then when you get there, it's not even like the camels are going to be that impressive. All of these arbalests here. You see, yeah, Name just back up a little bit with his Cavalier, and I guess there's a pretty huge mass of skirmishers and stuff here for Tim. This is where you get Warwolf, man. All those skirmishers would die. It doesn't matter.
Wouldn't finish in time. G to the G.
Yeah, very well played there from VNA. Really appreciated their aggression in the Castle Age.
Lovely stuff here. Huh. And what was really the thing that was going so wrong for them? VNS, they defended heavily. Bekti camped a lot. Name had the walls up. And then it was kind of this one aggression against the archer range there, right? Tim laid up to Castle Age. Bekti had the engagements. And then Berber Britons. Maybe if you see those civilization, and you said like in the late run, you want to go for SO and feel like then you can beat Britons and Berbers, maybe just going full stone wall. It's even better than having an archer range in your wall.
I actually really like that idea because, I mean, you have two civs with some of the best siege hunters in the game, right? Ethiopians with torsion engines, so much slash damage, and then the Mongols with their limousine siege hunters with drill. And there's not really a whole lot that the Britons and Berbers can do at that point. We also have to remember they both have excellent siege rams, and siege rams traditionally are the great counter to Britons. Don't do so poorly against the Berbers either. Now that camel archers, thankfully, don't have bonus damage against rams. That was pretty crazy.
So maybe the Frantic approach team wall that could have helped a lot.
Oh yeah, the team wall. I really thought the team wall would have been a better idea, especially since they did invest in the stone walls.
And then the stone walls, yeah. Maybe it's tough to say because the game was pretty passive, but I think they might have not played it safe enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It feels weird to say when a game was that passive, but the fact that they just kind of got overrun in the Castle Age with VNA taking the map control, taking that hill, which is kind of like the centerpiece of Sahara, really just putting a stranglehold at the front of Tim's base and just not letting go.
Yeah, but Brits Berbers so sick in Castle Age, not that sick in Imp. Let's run through the stats, Mr. Onlu.
Yeah, so military stats backed with a very nice KD, all the buildings raised, super big army. Yes, CL had the biggest boom in terms of food, but it's just not really enough, especially when you have a civilization like the Mongols that are pretty weak in the early Imperial Age, because it just takes so long to get Mangudai up and running. They take a ton of upgrades. Usually you're transitioning from cavalry, so you need to do a 180 in terms of blacksmith upgrades. And really, CL is not really able to get to that point. And even if he did, already had the camel archers ready for Say My Name. So yeah, definitely liked VNA's approach that game.
Yeah, sweet stuff. Sweet stuff. And
okay, guys. So, what's next? It's Rift
Legend.
Island.
Sweet stuff. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, this is a best of 5, so it's not over yet. VNA are on match point. If they win Rift Island, they win the set and they go through to the grand final. Of course, Frantic are going to do everything in their power to stop them, and that means that they will have to win the next map, which is Rift Island. Just imagine that the Sahara image is now grey and has a VNA logo on it, since VNA did just win that map, as you saw. Now, we're going to be showing you the video for Rift Island, since we want to give you a sort of introduction to the map, as we've never seen it before in a tournament, and it's a brand new map which was designed by MuckDK for the map design competition. So we're going to show you that right now, and then we'll be going into Rift Island next for the 4th game in this series. Welcome to Rift Island, a brand new map created by MuckDK, the winner of the ECL Africa map-making contest. This new map will be available to teams in the 2v2 and 3v3 Africa event in the upcoming ECL stage. We're here today to showcase the map and what it has to offer. Rift Island is a relatively open map that aims to force players toward the center. Food is in abundance here, as players start with 8 goats, 2 rhino, and a regular berry bush. However, in the center of the map, you'll find a waterhole, where large groups of zebra can be hunted. Players start relatively close together, meaning that the rush distance will be short and the potential for action in the center of the map will be high. This map also features water and reasonable fishing around the edge too. It will be interesting to see how teams approach this, and opens up a variety of different strategies. Fishing in the back may be safer than attempting to gather the zebra in the middle, but where will the balance lie? The woodlines on this map are also larger and more concentrated around the edge, meaning that walling across the front of your base will be a much harder task. This should lead to more aggression, and if the fronts of bases are secured, the opportunity for a landing is always there, with the water going all the way around the outside. Stone and gold is standard, and there's a concentration of relics in the center of the map too, further increasing the value of holding this area. So let's see if this map gets picked or banned in the map drafts, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing what strategies the 8 best teams in the world will use here in the Africa stage. So there you go, Rift Island in a nutshell, and we will be seeing that map next for the first time since no team played it in the first round. It was banned every time, or it simply wasn't picked. But we do have that up next, and it's 2-1 to VNA. Of course, this is now match point, and of course we will have Ornlu and Nili to take us through our next game. Guys, I'll let you speculate a little bit about this map, about what civs we could potentially see, and we'll tell Robo, we'll give him a quick nudge to tell him, hey, start the game.
So Nili, what civs would you like to see from these teams on this map that I know you and I have only seen probably a few games of, and just random rated games on Voobly?
I haven't seen a single game of it yet. I
Oh.
only heard a bit of it, and I think like Mongols could be an option again, since we're somewhat fighting for the center. We surely have to have aggressive civilizations. I wouldn't mind some civilizations that are good on like water and the center as well.
I like Italians
like-
here.
Italians could be a good pick. I wouldn't really mind like Japanese, because you can build a lot of mills. You are strong on water in general. I think that could be a nice one.
Yeah, that would definitely work out pretty well, I think. I've seen, I think, 3 total games of just random, Voobly games, and every single time it was the team that could secure the water control and get a good fish boom really were able to sort of, slingshot that into getting excellent land control and winning the game. So I think that should be, something to look out for as we get into this game right about now. All right, everybody. Welcome to game number 4 of VNA versus Frantic semifinals, semifinal number 1 for ECL Africa 2v2. Map can be Rift Islands. First time we're going to be seeing it in a tournament. And kicking things off, we've got CL in the cyan as the Spanish over here in the east of the map for Team Frantic. His teammate over here in the northwest of the map in the green is going to be Tim as the Malay. Their opponents going to be, say my name, as the Red Indians over here in the, I guess, south west of the map. And finally, we have backed as the Orange Italians over here in the southeast.
Interesting civilization choice. I think VNS has the advantage here. Why would you pick Spanish? I don't really see them being too strong. Will be just so tough to be completely walled. Your teammate is always open, and Spanish isn't really a civ that can fight for the center to do well. Indians will have a strong whatever they want to go for in early feudal age, and Italians, they can just control so much of the center and on the outside. My
Yeah,
money is on VNS.
I'm not really sold on the Spanish, like for the reasons you're saying, but I'm also not really sold on the Indians. It's just, I think, a matter of what do they bring to the table here that's particularly special. Like, yes, they're just a solid all-around civ. They can do a lot of stuff early on that take advantage of all of the veritable cornucopia of food here in the center of the map. But they don't really have, I think, a whole lot to offer as the game progresses in terms of just naval power. And I mean, I don't think camels are going to be especially great here.
And this isn't really the map where we will likely go into like a trade scenario where the Spanish trade will kick in or like Imperial camels will carry. So we will see. Malay, a pick that I didn't have on my list, but surely a strong one. Good on water, nice to advance into the ages, can put on some aggression into the land. But the question is now, how much will we actually see aggression throughout the center? Because like Valley, if you remember that as an old ECL map, was designed for that as well. But we've seen mostly players team wall up and play with their standard resources.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something to consider. I remember specifically one of the games I casted on this map did involve the Malay, who I forgot to mention, but they're really good on this map because this is really a time for Thassalocracy to shine. The Malay unique tech that gives you harbors, and you can just throw them down all over the place in the middle of the map because there's just so much, dockable area that, you know,
Oh, right hand side. Sorry for interrupting. Back T's villagers getting interrupted there and dying. So the dock is not going up. Going on to the outside here. And yeah, some of you didn't mention the spearman instead of a scout at the start of the game here. So scouts become a bit less efficient and overall scouting is a bit tougher. And back T, what is he doing? Now sending some sheep in that area. Kind of weird reaction.
Yeah. Also, say my name ostensibly lost a unit somewhere.
Oh,
I guess
don't
it was a
tell
villager.
me. Back T is. Oh god, why didn't he wall it? That's just. I don't want to use the. I don't want to sound respectful, but that wasn't really clever. Like he knew that the spearman was around. Why did he not wall that villager? Now needed to delete that, and now completely changes up his strategy. He had so much wood piled up, and now he says, "Okay, I can't get my docks up. Let's go for the drush approach."
Yeah, man, Mr. Pokey Poke was not having any of that villager, and I think just not walling there is honestly just totally inexcusable if you don't have loom. Like, okay, if you're gonna go for like loom, fine. I mean, it's still probably gonna delay your dock, but just not having loom, not going for the wall, pretty rough there. And he's not even gonna be able to take advantage of the cheaper Italian fishing ships. So that's, not something you want to do, and fish are real good.
Ugly spot. And then, where does the advantage of Italians come from? Oh, yeah. I might see us in game 5 here. Spanish
Uh,
already walling up. Oof.
I mean, it's more like CL's already walling up, man. I mean, it doesn't matter what Civi is.
Okay, yeah, true.
Yeah. But he is interestingly going to the middle, milling all of these zebra around here, having, was that 9 villagers there? Not even bothered with his berries right now.
Well, Makes sense. Now sending some villagers on gold. And he's already at pop 29. I want to see another house for him. Otherwise, he could be housed. Let's see. What is Tim doing? He's the first one to feudalate. We'll build a second dock. No barracks from him. So water approach by Tim.
Yeah, and I think that should work out pretty well. Ships can rove all over the middle of the map, and could potentially see some big demo hits later on. But just normal galleys, war galleys, galleons, they should do a lot of work in controlling the middle of the map against any sort of land unit.
Yeah, and like all this desert area in the center, ship can actually pass there. So even a front dock for example, Name could have been a good option. Had some deep fish, and then with some fire galleys around, could have controlled a lot of the map.
I think I saw maybe it was MBL in one of those games I cast do the first dock at the edge of the map and then the second dock on the other side towards the middle of the map to help out his teammate with some fire ships and whatever. And I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I like that as well. So we see Tim now completely walled. He will only contest the water, as we said. At the same time, Bekti, aggressive tower, coming around with some M&A. Let's see, CL is getting the walls up. Can he save this villager? Looks like yes. And for now, only the 2 villager losses, or the 1 villager loss early on. The real deal. Let's take a look. Defensive towers. CL is somewhat safe. Oh, but his gold is not walled.
Oh, Ripperino is going to be losing a villager there, almost certainly. Yeah, there she goes. What is it with these guys and not quick walling? It's, pretty straightforward and I guess pretty like basic, I guess. Making sure that you're nice and safe. We see a ton of idle time right now for a Cyan player who's 7 villagers queued up at his DC.
Okay, well, he doesn't really know how to use his resource at the moment. Is now trying to go wall off there, but still his woodline is open. Kind of weird. Specty with another tower, but CL does not see that one.
Oh, that could be a real doozy. Is that his one lumber camp? Yeah, that's his only lumber camp. So once the tower goes up, that's going to represent a lot of idle time. Ooh, whoa, a little quick wall there. Going to force back to wander around, so it's, I guess, something.
And that's just sloppy by CL, honestly. He
Really
knew
sloppy.
that the villagers were there. He knows that that's probably the most vulnerable spot for him. Not impressed at the moment.
Yeah, and he's going to lose another villager to the scouts of Say My Name. And he's still not wall. Just quick wall your villagers, man! Oh, my God.
That's a bit of a Titanic game, we have to say.
Oh, boy.
More scouts blocking the lumber camp over there, left-hand side. And look at that migration. Yeah, losing
man.
yet another.
We're not even playing the map migration.
Okay, so on the outside, we see Tim with a nice water control. That's what he was supposed to do, so only makes sense. Has 3 dogs. Would love to see him expand even more. No one really getting the free food in the center at the moment.
Well, I mean, other than what CL managed to grab in the Dark Age, yeah, nothing too crazy going on. We see Backed following this up with a bunch of stone walls, which I think is always, I guess, a little suspect because you can just transport over super easily, but I guess it just prevents you from freely running in. Same name doing the exact same thing. And yeah, everyone else seems to be pretty content in walling up. I do like to point out here that Tim has 12 fishing ships right now, as there's a little bit of scuffle on the water, but Tim seems to be firmly in control of his team's water, having 12 fishing ships to his opponent's 0.
It's like, it's so weird. Like, there are so many memes around Tim always not Tim. Back-T always pausing, and again in this series he already paused 3 times, and for us obviously it's super short, but it's just ridiculous. What is he always doing? Oh man. But okay, let's focus on the game again. We have Back-T coming up with the next tower, now with some aggression, but he is going back. Did he put the M&A into the tower? Oh, very low.
I guess so. He needs to get that herbal medicine upgrade, man. But yeah, it's tower is going to probably end up falling here from backed before the second tower completes, especially with these villagers joining the party. It seems like Back's tower aggression is probably going to come to an end over here on the north side. These men-at-arms are really too low to get a whole lot done. Well, these villagers are backing up for CL.
When was the last time that you researched Herbal?
Playing Aztecs to get the 5 extra HP.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of the only scenario, right?
Oh, also in the campaigns, in some of the forgotten campaigns, herbal medicine is a big savior because you have like limited units. You gotta garrison them to heal them up.
Okay, maybe I should play more campaigns then. Okay, now we have a sneaky move at the left-hand side. Tim actually landed with 2 stables there and is now coming in with elephants. Hello.
Oh boy, we got the good old elephant raid. Never see it coming. No.
What the villager is not running the elephant? What is this? It's such a bad unit for raiding. Oh. Okay, Siege Workshop now coming around, and well, did say my name react at all? Now he's pulling villagers. Finally.
So the crouching villager, hidden elephant man, you just can't see it coming. The Siege Workshop coming in, that's really, I think, going to be really scary for Samaname to deal with right now, because he just doesn't have anything to deal with that. I mean, Tim really just benefiting from all of these fishing ships he has on the water, just totally smashing Say My Name in terms of just the early water shenanigans. Now it's 17 fishing ships. CL still has 5 to help him out a little bit. So that's 22 combined fishing ships to the 0 of VNA. Like, that's just an insane economic difference.
Absolutely, and failing the quick watch there on the gold. Now the villagers trying to run away a bit, but more elephants coming over. By TCL at the right-hand side, both upping now. Trying to get some monasteries out, but look at that, villagers running down to 30 villagers only, and more will go down surely.
Oh yeah, these Oliphants are not going to be stopped anytime soon. I mean, you're going to probably want like a fair amount of camels to deal with those, as they're going to be a little bit better since the elephants got fixed. But you're still going to need a lot of camels, and it's now 19 military to 1.
Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, 1 camel, but camels aren't that great, and it is ending for me here. And it seems like that's simply the GG moment. Sometimes if the host, the one we got the rag of, is just leaving, it just ends the game. So let's just assume that was the GG moment, and it is 2-2. We're going into game number 5.
Yeah, pretty crazy series back and forth. But yeah, just Tim, I think, totally being a superstar of that game and just dominating on the water and then landing, and it was all ogre after that. Yeah. Still having 58 villagers too.
Yes. Okay, Arno, let's go through this. Why are you going for scouts in Age of Empires?
Because they are fast and can help out your teammate and pick off stray units.
Okay, and if your enemy walls, what does that mean for you?
Your scouts are not doing a whole lot.
What can you do, though?
With the scouts at that point?
With your whole economy approach?
Well, get up to the castle age and, transition into camels if you're the Indians.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm the worst. Like, what I did was, like, just stuff. Like, okay, I'm asking that I want answer. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, I wanted to say my name. He had all the map control in the world and didn't go for all the deer.
Oh.
They had the whole map control. And that's just very bad, very bad, like, abuse of the whole map.
Nilly, don't you think they would have gone with ships there, though?
Yeah, like, the thing is, Tim had a ton of fire galleys, right? So the villagers couldn't gather the zebra in comfort.
I'm not sure if Tim had enough vision there. Like, they didn't have a single unit. Even if he sends one, you just go back and you lost one mil. But just, like, not abusing it at all is a big mistake, in my opinion.
I actually think a better strategy might have been to go for a landing, like, especially because we saw, I believe Samaname had a dock, like, in the little river between him and Tim. So while the fire galleys were off engaging in the far, I guess, west of the map, might have been able to sneak in some scouts to his opponent's base before he got fully walled. That might have worked.
That was a crazy game. That was really messy. It was a train
Oh,
wreck
yeah.
of a game. I'm disappointed that Bact lost his villagers. Well, he didn't even manage to get a single dock up, right? I mean, the first
Yeah.
one's kind of understandable. You're probably not expecting your opponent to bring their spearmen to your corner and walk all the way around. But then the second one, like, he just bailed on the dock. He just gave up at that point. And he did do a decent amount of damage to CL, and I don't think that's due to Bact playing out of his mind and placing the perfect towers. That was because CL was just making bad decisions and not quick walling and not, anticipating where the very obvious towers were going to be. But really, the game was won when Frantic won the water. I mean, the fish, even though CL lost a few villagers to some scouts and some men-at-arms, they had so many more fish. At one point, I bought the graph up, and they had like 28 extra economy units even after they'd raided CL like crazy. So yeah, and then obviously, what are you going to do versus the elephant push? I mean, you're going to do nothing versus that. I mean,
What are you gonna do when the elephants come for you, man?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? It's game 5 next as the Frantic team managed to tie things up 2-2. And, well, I think Memb likes to call them ballerinas. So these elephants. And what do ballerinas wear? They wear tutus. So that's why we're going into game 5 next. I don't think we need to see any achievements at this point. Let's just have a look at the next map. It's going to be Serengeti to close things off here.
Oh boy, this could be a wild one to end this pretty crazy series.
Absolutely. I think Mem needs a couple of seconds before we go into the next game. So I'm just going to quickly throw it on the timer, and we'll be getting our next one going very shortly. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a follow on the stream if you haven't already. We'll be streaming all of the ECL here, so you can be sure to catch all of the action on this channel, as well as other channels also. You can also catch it on Ornlu's channel and on Neely's channel too. I believe you guys will probably be casting some ECL on your own channels at some point. So now is your cue to plug your channels. Go.
Estimation Casters is doing the job for us. And yeah, go over to Ondo. He is an entertaining guy, a lot of great emotes, and a lovely dude. Go out, check out his channel over at Twitch TV, Onlu_AOE.
And yeah, if you're not following Nilly, you're crazy. Go follow Nilly at NillyAoE. And yeah, he's a real smart guy. He's been playing the game for a long time. Great player, great caster, great tournament organizer. Pretty sure you've got a King of the Hippo coming up. So definitely look into that and yeah, check him out if you haven't.
Next weekend, indeed. An
And
8-player FFA tournament.
Oh, it's an 8-player FFA tournament. Okay, yeah.
good stuff. And, or should I say sweet stuff? Because Nilly's here. Sadly, I don't have anyone to sell out. I have to sell out myself.
Zero Empires.
Check out Zero Empires at just Twitch TV/Zero Empires.
Guys, do you know, like, on the like, how would I call this? Like, on the stage, when, like, there's a moderator, and he's saying, like, okay, let's thank A and B, and oh, thanks C, and oh, D for the donations. And then the random dude takes a microphone, and now, give a hand for our host. And everyone like, yeah, the host.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And you don't want to clap because you already clapped for the first 15 guys, and like, yeah, okay, he was there.
It's like, when you're at graduation and your name's at the end of the alphabet and everyone's just like, yeah, whatever.
Everyone's hands are sore.
Yeah, exactly. But we should be getting into game number 5 here.
We should be. We will be. It's starting in just a second.
Just maybe.
Maybe.
Oh. Randomly flying to the edge of the map, but we're all good. Welcome everyone to game number 5. All tied up. This game is for all the marbles here. And yeah, the winner moves on to the finals to face either SY or Suomi, which will be our next series. and the loser is out. And I think both of these teams would really like to sort of make their stamp on the ECL. Both have had relatively okay performances so far, but I think both would really appreciate going into the finals and sort of getting that uh, exposure and performance. But getting right into it, we have backed in the orange as the Malians over here in the far west of Serengeti, and his teammate, of course, will be Sam and Aim in the red as the Huns to the north of the map, and their opponents will be CL as the Cyan Berbers over here to the far east of the map, and finally we will have the man, the myth, the legend, Tim as the Green Indians to the south. Nilly, tell me what's up.
What's up? Well, you already said it. So much pressure on the line, guys. They have played like 3 ECL events already. VNA is not performing too well. And finally, if they win this one, they will finally get some monies and some puntos their way. And they desperately need it. So a win is absolutely what they're aiming for. And let's see how they could do in the finals if they ever get to it.
If they ever get there.
Ah.
But yeah, I think both of these teams have the sort of potential to win this round of ECL. I think both teams have demonstrated that they have the both individual skill and coordination necessary to win, but obviously only one can do that, and both of these teams can suffer from, I would say, inconsistent level of play. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, what do you think of these civs, Nilly?
So in the first 2 games, or actually like in the first 3 games, we could say we kind of had a defined one unit is going archers, one unit is going cavalry. But here we kind of have 4 civilizations that are good at both. I could see all 4 civs going for scouts and all 4 civs going for archers. Even some M&A aggression wouldn't surprise me from any of the civs. Tim may be the most unlikely, but they have a lot of options, and I'm very interested to see how they will play it out.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to make. Is all 4 of these civs have very diverse tech trees in terms of units they can make, options they can go for, and maybe that was a conscious decision because this is Game 5. Everything is on the line here. Kind of want to make sure you're as adaptable as possible in what your game plan is, especially on a map that's as wild as Serengeti, where things can go crazy real quick if you're not careful, as this map is just so open. It does have the unbuildable terrain, which for me right now looks like a gray blob, but I think it's supposed to look like quicksand. Then you have the cracked terrain, which buildings take extra damage when they're placed on it.
Okay, let's go to CL's TC, then a bit to the left, to the water, and a bit more to the left south on the stone. Do you see the elephant laying on his back in the stone muster in the
The
gray?
elephant laying on his.
Okay, okay, I already see Zach. Exactly, Zach, the one. Do you see that one? Huh? Huh? Okay, let's go to somewhere else then.
Sorry.
But Zach saw it. I saw it.
I'm sorry. I totally missed out.
I should stop that. It's just so much tougher.
But
As a stone, it was at the stone shape. But let's jump into the game. Sam and Aim is up to the feudal age 920 time. Pretty solid here with the Huns.
Yeah, definitely. Going up on 20 pop. This is definitely possible on Serengeti. I keep on forgetting to check, but I believe you might start with more villagers on this map. But I've seen people go up with some really fast up times. Like I think we've seen people go up on 17 population as not Mongols. So definitely very likely to see some aggression.
Thing is, you have deer and ostrich, or like zebra and ostrich, very close to see. So you can use your goats a bit later and just have the faster food income. So pop 20 makes that kind of doable.
Okay, Robos has no extra villagers. So yeah, it's just the all of the huntable animals that give you that extra food.
Indeed, and we see Bekti already with quite a high population and with some aggression in his eyes. 5 female villagers, 3 militia dudes, and they are going for Mr. Timmy.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the positioning of Tim's resources. He does have a stone kind of at the back, but I mean, it's Serengeti, man. There's just no real easy way to defend your base, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more tower rushes on this map. I feel like it's just such a powerful opening here.
Oh, it's not like your resources are super clumped up and, well, maybe not the greatest team strategy since you're always open if your tower rush and scouts could kill you at home. Let's take a look. Back T now coming in with the +1 defense already from his militia, but won't really fight against ranged units. Scouts from Tim, Arch, and now let's see. Defensive tower up.
Yeah, but the tower is, I think, pretty poorly placed because it can be hit downhill really easily by the men-at-arms, or if villagers decide to join the party, and there's not really going to be enough scouts here to defend against the men-at-arms, at least for a little bit. So that's not going to be a tower that's going to happen, at least not right now.
Yeah. And what did we say when CL went for tower aggression? He would have loved to have some scout help from Tim. And you see, VNS is doing that differently. Same name is already sending all his scouts over. Beautiful team play.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's going to be pretty tricky here for Tim to hang on. Villagers are a little bit exposed right now, but with only the 2 scouts without any upgrades, it's not like they're going to be that effective. Villagers at 3 health, but she's alive, and that's 2 dead scouts. And oh boy, this is not looking good for a green player.
Oh man, and CL, he didn't do anything just yet. 0 kills, probably even damage done. Stone denied here as well. Tim in a world of pain. More M&A around. Tim not getting onto any units.
Yeah, looking at SKD right now, he has 1 kill and 7 deaths. That is pretty indicative of how this opening has gone for him. It looks like some scouts from CL are trying to make the difference, so to say. One villager at very low HP for backed, but some pretty fancy walling maneuvers will save him for the time being. And the scouts are taking a lot of hits right now for our Cyan player.
Wow, beautiful wall there, and some spearmen around. Actually, some spearmen, I say it's 3 now. Villager, nice, building his own prison, but it's a prison of freedom.
Got that paradox right there, but Quick Wall's attempting to come in here, but not really that many villagers under the TC. But I think that there are more than enough spearmen right now to ward away any stray scouts from CL, as we are seeing the tower fun continue to unfold from our orange player backed.
Oh, finally he's getting 1 kill. He was hungry for that one. Got it in the end. Nice quick wall here. Oh god.
Oh,
Back
dang.
T. And that's some quick walls we normally don't see from Vietnamese players because they play with bad pings with the Europeans. But it seems like SY or like the China and Vietnamese is pretty reasonable latency there.
Oh yeah, I mean the countries are right next to each other, so should be getting a pretty good ping. Scout's gonna try and come in. Backed was smart though and was throwing the villagers at lower HP closer to the town center, using them to be farmers, and is now even going to be establishing a defensive tower. And yeah, I definitely like the position of VNA a lot more than Frantic right now.
Yeah, and Seminame, he's running around with the scouts. Absolutely lovely that he's already adding a market here as well. I think something that is heavily underused still just makes you make so many good decisions over and over again if you know exactly what's up, even on your teammate's side. But he won't break the walls against CL. He's somewhat safe.
Scouts running in right now into the base of Say My Name from CL and already getting a villager. Probably not going to be able to get a second one just yet. But I mean, that just goes to show Serengeti, it's just such an open map. It's really hard to make sure that your villagers won't just randomly die to some scouts running in.
And that's the beauty of the map for sure. So tough to wall. Really
Unless you're
benefits
CL, of course, who
a
is...
lot of aggression. Yeah, well, he makes it happen. That's the truth. Okay, aggressive tower and take a look. CL, he sees it. Not
he's
building a
shooting at it.
defensive tower.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, no, he is. Should be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, CL's really not been attacked all that much this game. I mean, this a tower attempt from Say My Name is really, I think, the first major incursion into CL's base, and he's going to get up to the castle age well ahead of everyone else. And I wonder if he's going to have the stone for camel archers. Probably not yet, but he'll at least be able to make some knights to help
Yeah,
equalize things earlier.
and knights are so good in this spot as well. He has the two stables up. He has the long vision, knows exactly where he can raid, and then Berbers, cheaper knights. He still has a game or the shot to take the game for his team.
Yeah, I mean, CL's definitely, played games where he's just kind of not like carried the game because it's something of a coordinated strategy between him and his teammate, but really just totally brutalize the other team 1v2 in certain situation. And Berbers are definitely a civ that can do that. I love this civ. The cheaper knights just feel so good. The faster moving villagers give you a really clean, smooth Dark Age. And we could really see some heavy pressure applied to VNA because knights kill pretty much every feudal age unit really easily.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's something we don't mention often enough, in my opinion. The faster moving villagers makes it so much easier to run away from raids, to lure some elephants, just so much nicer. Same name, getting some aggression done, but on the right hand side, 3 spearmen lost their life, did a lot of damage though. Let's see, where are the knights going to go of CL?
Due west. Can't really tell just yet. But this is definitely, I think, a good time to mention that Huns, yes, they have excellent knights with the faster working stables all the way up to fully upgraded paladins, but they're really going to struggle against the Berbers and their camels that are so cheaper. So kind of relying on the Malians to also potentially make camels, but then the Berbers have you beaten that way. So I think Berbers are just a really good civ option against what VNA have to offer right
Oh
now.
no. Back T is going for Tibetos.
Oh, he's still heavily on stone.
He just sent another 6 villagers on stone, yeah. He will go for the full Geppetto move. Interesting. Not too great against knights, bad against camel archers. Oi.
Yeah, I don't even think they're great against knights because they die in 3 hits. Like that's pretty flimsy, and the knights can still chase them down, right?
Yeah. I'm curious why he's going for that. Does he feel he has enough aggression? Because he just lost his forward villages as well. So it won't be like a forward castle into Tim's face, who's now going for some stables, and he will go for camels as well. Ay, Frantic suddenly in a good spot here.
Yeah, that was a very quick turnaround, but still heavily favoring, I guess now favoring Frantic's position quite a lot. Back losing even more villagers. Looks like he lost a couple more. No bloodlines or any attack upgrades just yet for CL, but just having knights on the dance floor right now is going to be the most important thing by far. Currently 12 kills into 4 deaths for our Cyan player. Really putting back on the backed foot.
And on the back foot, so much that he's building a very defensive castle here, not protecting any of the resources. He maybe wanted to have it so that the villagers won't get interrupted, but they still will be. So 2 losses there. Now going for the woodline. Back T in a world of pain. 31 villagers. This looking good for Frantic.
It's looking better than good for Frantic. I mean, backed is not like GG yet, but we're sort of getting there, right? He's going to have a castle. He's going to be able to make a few Gebettos, but that's not really a unit that's going to do great in small numbers against, also small numbers of knights. Just because, the knights can just chase them down and kill them in 3 hits, like I said. So I'm not really sold on this. And now we also have knights. CL kind of splitting his attention between both of his opponents. There is a monk there, at least for Say My Name, to hold on for the time being.
And Semanem not taking good care. He gets 1 conversion against him, make it 2 conversions. CL with all the army here, and back T. Ay. Well, Gebettos, they have to be super efficient now, but not a single upgrade on them just yet.
I mean, I guess they are going to be able to pick off a few very low HP knights. So that's going to be something, but I guess something that is in favor of Gebettos is that they don't really need that many upgrades to be effective. I mean, I guess you kind of want the defense upgrades to give you a little bit more longevity, but they're very much like the glass cannon-y sort of unit, just all about the micro.
Yeah, let's see. Well, it is nice. It is a nice comeback unit. You don't need the greatest eco to get some out, as you said. You don't need too many upgrades. Probably the speed upgrade might
Oh yeah,
actually be one
squires.
of the squires might actually be one of the most important ones, and even that one is cheap. So let's see what he can do, especially against camels with some great micro. I still have a dream.
Oh, you always have a dream if you're VNA. But third stable knight coming in for CL. I mean, this is just the power of the Berbers, right? They're just so much more easily able to boom while producing knights than like any other civ in the game. Even nabbing a relic to supplement that gold income. Monks healing on up the knights. We talked about that earlier. How that's just really nice to have in terms of just getting the maximum value out of your army. And it looks like Tim, he's having a little bit of a breather finally due to Vact taking so much damage. So he's, getting it to be in at least a pretty decent position.
And now we will have a big double, and oh god, that might be tricky. The monk's completely out of position. That will be so tough. Will they get any conversions in the knights? I'm not seeing it just yet. Okay, well, they need to retreat. This could have been so much worse for Say My Name.
Yeah, that could have been a total catastrophe, but it's still not looking great because now we have Tim contributing some camels of his own, and these knights have absolutely no fear. TC having no fletching upgrade, meaning it's doing a big old 1 damage to these knights. Monks are going to be able to get some conversions, but will it be enough? As we now have CL coming in with his own monks to, I guess, reconvert the units, and this is looking really grim right now for VNA.
Bekti now coming over with his Geppettos was really needed there to fight off all the monks in the back. Would have done a lot of damage against the camels as well. But now, and again, the scenario that we mentioned, converting, then healing. Let's see, maybe Bekti, can he catch some reinforcements of guard? Not really happening either. Beautiful positioning for our Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, again, monks here going to be able to heal on up the cavalry units quite nicely. Looks like maybe 1 conversion got off for Say My Name. But I feel like they're going to need to start taking some really good engagements if they want to be able to come back. And I think something that we really haven't talked about yet is the economies. We have CL currently at 78 villagers.
Hallelujah!
Yeah, that's a massive advantage. And even Tim, who took so much damage early on, is tied with Say My Name, who's at the highest villager count on his team. So this is just looking real bad. CL clicking up to the Imperial Age. This might be getting out of control here for Frantic.
Oh man, yeah, and he is up to Imperial Age, adding a adding more stables, having all the upgrades. Let's take a look. Can the Geppettos get some kills in the back? They will get 1 and then retreat.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about Geppettos is you can sort of get them in these little, nooks, but not, I think, really just enough at this point.
Well, and you see, CL just realized, well, yeah, I could take a fight here, I could maybe lose it. What about just falling back, get more of my beloved knights, upgrade them to cavaliers, and then just go for another even bigger attack?
Yeah, 4 TCs right now for our Cyan player, 5 stables, and he's going to be in the Imperial Age shortly, and I cannot think of anything that VNA can do to stop that right now.
Well, the Geppettos are doing quite a nice job against the camels, so love that for sure. But yeah, as you said, the big problem on the Indian camels, it clearly is our Berber who is just preparing, and it is the calm before the storm.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Name's going to try and come in with some knights of his own. Might be able to pick off a villager or 2, but if CL is aware, he should be able to just garrison the villagers in the TC and send in his own cavalry units to defeat the Hun knights. Yeah, Cavalier going to be coming in right away, and now he has 20% cheaper Cavalier. Yes, he's going to lose a few villagers here, but he's still a good 20 villagers ahead of his opponents, and this is just not a fight that you can see Say My Name take. Also, worth mentioning is that he doesn't have any attack upgrades that is Say My Name, whereas CL does have Iron Casting.
I'm not sure about that. It was a lot of conversions back and forth, and if you upgrade after converting, yeah, he doesn't have a single one. That's true. So he needs 5 hits against the villager. With forging, you only need 4 hits. And let's take a look. CL not attacking at the front, doesn't want to go into all the monks. Probably just group up, get all of them together. Is soon to be up to 40 cavaliers and go for one big push in the center. And conversions have to be sick from Semanim to somehow survive.
Yeah, so I mean, a Saber name has, 23 army. Seal has 30. If we subtract, what is that, 5, 6, and then add that to Saber name, then you're looking at about even, I guess. But that's really going to be the best case scenario for Saber name. He literally needs to get all of these mugs having unique conversions to, I think, to even have a chance in this fight.
Okay, let's see. Might be the final engagement of this semi-final. Onlu, hold my hand.
Hold me, Nilly. I can't deal with this. Yeah, the monks are all dying a very painful death, and this is not going to be a close fight in the slightest.
It actually was 4 conversions, so that wasn't too bad. Now going for more pikemen, but lost all the knights in the world. Now down to 10 military at the same time. Not enough engagements here for Back T. He's killing quite a bit. Is in the back base of Tim. Let's see. Will he eat a mangonel shot? Mangonel shot could kill all those Geppettos. Let's take a look. Ooh, my nerves.
Yeah. Now Tim's in the Imperial H2 though. Saber name's like dead, and Back is probably not going to be too far behind, and that's going to be the GG. And yeah, Frantic moves on to the finals for the second time now.
Yeah, and that without Vivi. You have to think about that as well. So they will have a very strong other 2v2 team coming up, and already in the finals, so lovely spot for them. But VNS, they clearly put on a show as well.
Yeah, I think that they performed a lot better than maybe people would have expected them to. I always say that VNS can, they can take games off of anyone, and then they can also burn out in the first round. But this is now, the second tournament in a row where they've gotten to the semifinals. So I'd say that they've actually been putting up some pretty consistent results, if not world-beating results. So I don't think you can be too unhappy if you're VNA.
Yeah, they like, I've considered them to be like the 7th strongest team overall. So
Yeah,
every time they finish in the semifinals, they kind of overcome my expectations. So, and now they perform pretty well. If they keep training, if they're playing like this, I think they will have some finals performances.
Yeah, I'd actually say that, VNA's had more impressive performances than both Finland and AM, who are, on paper, incredibly, favored teams against them. So yeah, I think that's pretty good for them so far.
Yeah.
I'd like
so
to.
clearly. Okay. Go
Sorry,
ahead,
I'd like to jump in and add that that was a really nice set of games. We actually went to all 5 games there, and I think they were quite evenly matched. And it's interesting to me that both teams, it felt like they had very similar approaches to the maps. They both kind of went for very similar strategies and mostly sort of walling themselves in, kind of playing the archers and knights, or archers and scouts. But I'm going to be interested to see if that remains true for the next set of games. SY and Suomi, will they take similar approaches to these two teams, or will SY or Suomi shake it up a little bit and maybe try something else? Because I think both these teams did play a very similar style. I actually quite enjoyed the last game, though, with Back trying out the Gebeto, but man, this map is so brutal. It's so rough. Just when you think you're getting an advantage and you're doing some good eco damage, you get raided at home, and it's all reset.
Yeah, I think they went for Geppettos because they didn't want to fight like knight crossbowmen against Indian camels.
Yeah.
But
Also, the
still-
Geppettos do well against camels.
Yeah, but it was way too open, I believe, this map.
As weird as it is, I think CL's strategy of literally just full walling his map is actually probably the best bet for Serengeti. Otherwise, you're just going to get swamped.
He makes it work every time as well. It's quite crazy.
Like, he was the only player that game to not take a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Like, economically.
Good stuff, good stuff. So we're going to come out of this match and we're going to be going into our next match in a few minutes' time. We have SY versus Suomi up next. Frantic will advance to the grand final to face the winner of this next set of games. Like I say, that is SY versus Suomi. Exciting stuff. I also want to remind people that there was or is a prediction competition. If you sign up and register to take part in the prediction competition today, it will be too late. You won't